Phantasmagorium show is proud to present Set to Stun, a Star Trek show that is an irregular one. Stardate 2023 20233.23. I made up this Stardate thing and I'm screwing it up. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. It's Geordie LaForge. Your away team for today is Lieutenant Antiderivative Jill, who apparently has found her happy place. We'll find out. And I am Chief Scotty R37 with the weird veering to the south side of the street, actually, myself. Without further ado, energize. Hey, Jill, what's going on, lady?
Hey, well, if you want to know my happy place, it has to do with the certain thing you picked up today.
Oh, right. This is true. We're just getting right into it, eh?
Well, I didn't know how you wanted to present it.
No, but I want to present it thusly. I got the full, whoa, there we are. I have now the Voyager, which goes very nicely with my Deep Space Nine, which is back here, and I'm not going to pull it off of the shelf right now because I don't want to. But I have the physical copy now, and so I'm going to start into an endeavor of how would Jens put it? Soy. So it's a lady ship. And I'm really looking forward to watching it. I'm looking forward to Kess. I'm looking forward to Seven. And I did discover last night that I have a Neelix foot fetish.
It's a starship that happens to be captained by a woman. I don't know what's so soy about it. Oh, hello, hail Cardinal Sin.
Cardinal Sin is here. Ahoy, sir. It's a pleasure to see you. And also, hey, Skogly.
Yeah, hello, Skogly.
Skol. Pleasure to see you guys, and thank you for being here. We are going to be talking about Star Trek Picard, or Bald Spaceman, as we like to call it around these parts. Episode 6. So we
I like to call it Space Pirate Vigilantes.
Okay. Interesting. Well, and accurate to a certain extent. We should really get into that once because we're more than halfway through the show now.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not a heck of a lot left to go in terms of the story. Although we may find out Ironic syndrome things. Like, do you think... Sorry, spoilers for episode 6, if you didn't know. But, like, do you think that all of the branches and everything that are going on in Jack Crusher's mind, is that just Ironic syndrome?
Of course, it can't be. It has to be something else. But this I don't even know why we even mention it, because none of it shows up in this episode. This episode has nothing to do with the red door or the spidery veins or whatever. Vines. There's none of that. Because, of course, he's been treated for his syndrome. That's why the hallucinations have ended.
How do you feel about the continued revisiting of All Good Things in terms of just in general on Picard? Like, the children of Geordie are named from the character names in All Good Things.
I don't really have any way to feel about it because that's the basis of the show. This entire season is built upon member-berry train of All Good Things and the Star Trek movies.
Yes. Although there was, we get a Lol name drop.
Yeah, it was a good thing to hear Lol and not hear Soji and her sister.
That's very interesting as well. I forgot that Soji existed until now.
I didn't want to hear about her, and I didn't. I only heard Data's real daughter's name.
Yes. Well, offspring, not necessarily daughter. She did get to choose her own appearance and persuasions. But I guess she did choose to be a daughter, so I respect her pronouns.
She used to be a daughter. Data created her.
Yes.
That is procreation. I have to leave
a daughter.
For a moment. I have a daughter. Speaking of daughters, I'll be right back. I'll have to leave you alone for a moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. But I find the over-reliance, like, I always thought that the Irremotic syndrome that occurred in All Good Things was something that was presented as a possibility to add tension, or at least to explain away why people thought he was, Picard was crazy during his time jumps. And it was something that had hitherto not been discovered by medical science. Like Dr. Crusher hadn't even checked, because she was checking the temporal, the chemicals that make memory, and how much had been developed over the course of, you've seen the episode, so you know the thing. So I found it to be something that was just sort of tied up into the false future that Q had constructed, or at least when it was erased. It's a very difficult episode to summarize quickly, but I never thought it was real. I never thought it was actual factual. Pardon me. Jill, did you think that that the Irremotic syndrome was a thing that had been cultivated, or something that was a real issue that Picard was going to have to deal with his entire life? Or did you think that that was part of the fantasy that Q created? Oh, I thought Jill was back. Never mind.
No, I am back. I was pondering your question, because this syndrome, we only hear about it in All Good Things, the last episode of TNG. So it's hard to determine what from Q's what is reality and what is just Q's manifestation. That is a good question, but I do want to clarify something in the chat. Cardinal Sin says Aromatic syndrome was removed from Picard when he became an android. Yes, and so we failed to clarify that it's Jack who also has this syndrome.
Yes. Well, and as we go through the episode, sorry, this is like a preamble with everything that we should be talking about at the end. Should we just get into the episode and then talk about it at the end?
I don't know.
It's up to you.
If you want to.
All right.
I mean, I think the conversation is already pretty good if this is the way you want to present it. But if
I
you also
do.
Okay.
I want to run with it for a little bit, but and then we'll get into the episode proper for I don't know. Let's just chat and jive and shuck all over the place for I don't know, 10 more minutes. And then we'll get into the slideshows. Does that sound cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
But yes, the Aromatic syndrome was removed from Picard when he became an android, or when he died, like when Picard died.
Right.
And then the transfer over, but it is Jack Crusher now who has the Irremotic syndrome, and everyone is treating Jack Crusher, who apparently is he's a 23-year-old or 24-year-old, with Dr. Crusher says the dumbest thing I have ever heard, because Jack says, I'm having all of these visions and I can't do anything about them, and it's really freaking me out. And then at the beginning of this episode, they basically say, well, he's affected by Irremotic syndrome, but the effects he may not be confronted by the effects for decades. And it's like, Bev, he's dealing with the effects now, if we're to believe you.
Yeah, but even worse than that, this whole thing is a confirmation of something that I've always rebelled against. That a lot of people say is that Beverly Crusher is a bad doctor, and I've always defended her, saying she did the best with what she's had, and under very bad conditions to work under. But now it looks like she really is a bad doctor after all, because it's taken until now, 20 years later, to discover that Jack has this syndrome, which would be something that if she knew about it beforehand already, and she did, you'd think that's something she would check for at some point.
Well, especially considering that it's Jean-Luc Picard's son. She can't protect Jack from the galaxy because of Jean-Luc Picard, but she never tried to diagnose him for something that could be genetically passed on from Jean-Luc Picard. That's right. I'm a big fan of Beverly Crusher, and I think she is a good doctor. But again, I think that we are still stuck with the trappings of the filth.
That's exactly what's happening.
It still smells. It's good to have the band together again. I'm happy.
This episode is Star Trek heroine with the dirty needle, is what I'm figuring out.
Wow. I think that's the most graphic metaphor you've ever presented. And we've hung out and talked about Star Trek in the Filth for a while. Victor Fontaine. Hey, Vic. Hail Scotty and Jill and the chat. I tried to cancel my Paramount Plus, but they gave me another month for free. Looks like I'm with you till the end of the line. Well, thank you, Bucky.
Thanks for hanging in.
Yes. Edge of Time is here. And thank you for phoning in. Edge of Time, thank you. This comment was phoned in. Hakeem is here. Hello, Hakeem. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Oh, but oh my God, that shows how desperate Paramount Plus is for people to watch this show. They're giving people 3 months to finish it.
All right, reel it in.
How?
This isn't that bad. I'm still like I'm more willing than most to I'm still poking holes. I don't hate it as much as everybody, but I don't love it as much as everybody. So I'm poking holes, but when we get through the episode proper, I'll tell you when my heart grew 3 sizes today.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, this episode does make you feel things if you're a Star Trek fan. It is very manipulative, like you said.
It's emotionally manipulative, but that emotional manipulation has setups and payoffs, and I appreciate the payoffs. Captain Infinity says
it does.
Picard is a replicant, so I ain't ever watching it. And I PM basically here for Scotty. Okay, great. Thanks. And Sin says the both of you are made of sterner stuff than I. Well, no, it's fun. It's fun. Like, again, it's new Star Trek. And so I'm not going to not watch new Star Trek.
I found out that I'm only able to do this because of the collaboration between myself and Scotty, because without him, I wouldn't be doing this.
I hold you hostage for Bald Spaceman, and I'm sorry.
No, it's my choice.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you're when we finished watching it today, because we watch these in preparation for the show for you fine people. We watch it together because we want to get like the live reaction from each other, and then we don't really talk about it until now. But when we watched it today, you said, like, I was being you and you were being me. I was being like, oh, come on. And you were like, no, I'm conflicted.
I was. Well, because the member berries are turned up to like 366 times whatever they've done before. It's in your face every second. And in addition, some of the writing went from very juvenile 3rd grade level writing to 9th grade level writing. And so it had some of the adult diction that I expect and even demand from my Star Trek. But with major logical plot issues are still there, but the authorship and sentence structure was improved from every other episode. And
you're judging the show based on grammar?
I always do. Star Trek has always had a high caliber of the way it presented itself as a stage play, as a literary work in it of itself, because it is presenting a future in which we are more than what we are now.
Well, and the thing is that I feel that the veneer of what I want from my Star Trek is being presented because I know these people and I expect them to get along. They aren't getting along because of their common goals instilled through Starfleet or exploration or anything. They're getting along because one of them is the daughter of an old friend. Most of them are old friends. Most of them know each other quite intimately, or at least they were a crew together. And even with Seven and Raffi, like there is this isn't a diverse population of the Federation coming together to solve common goals. This is people that all know each other to go and do something, which I'm fine with. But don't think that this is like, oh, this is the best Star Trek we've had in decades. No, this is the best reunion tour you've ever seen.
Well, like you said, it's kind of like a convention,
It is.
but very odd one.
It is. Well, and we'll get there. But there's a lot. There's a lot. I do want to get into the episode.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Cardinal Sin makes an excellent point. Watching Star Trek Picard, you could talk about more interesting stuff like watching paint dry. Well, every episode that this show releases means that we are 1 week closer to going back to the original intent of this show on this time slot. Jill, what do we talk about?
Yeah, Sam and Al is really what we enjoy talking about and what the show was. So Picard just snuck in and decided to.
But we like talking. We like talking about Star Trek, and this is one of the few opportunities that I'll actually be able to converse with you in terms of the filth. And so I'm happy that we can do it, even though I have obviously just, here's some candy, get in the van. Anyway.
This candy tastes like mouthwash.
Well, it's good for your teeth. Just swish. Edge of Time says planet Nibiru resembles planet Claire because of the red trees and pink air, as seen in the opening of Oh No. Into Darkness and heard in the song by the P-52s. Okay. Planet Nibiru? Yeah, from the beginning, and planet Claire. Okay, well, thank you, Edge of Time. I know Nibiru. I'm not as familiar with the B-52s. Captain Finity is saying something about replicants, which this episode does not shy away from in actual factual. It does hang a lantern on it, if you will.
Well, no, it actually becomes a big plot point now.
Well, you're going to have to explain that part to me, because I always thought it was just sort of something that we were going to gloss over, but no. Cardinal Sin says, this is the worst TV show in the history of TV shows. It's not Star Trek, and you don't like it. Fight me.
It's not Star Trek, and I don't like it. I'm not going to fight you.
That opens up an entire conversation, Cardinal Sin, because unfortunately, as they said in the 80s, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life, or canon, as I paraphrase. But yeah, it is Star Trek, unfortunately. Much like The Rise of Skywalker is Star Wars, unfortunately. But
yes, only legally, because they own the label.
I'm willing to accept in name only, but it is. And I don't like it. No, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I am so tepid. It's so ridiculous for me to be this. I usually hate bad Star Trek or like good Star Trek. And this one is like, I recognize things. Okay. And that's about the size of it.
Mm-hmm. Remember this thing when Star Trek was good?
Why do you think I just bought Voyager? Vic says, absolutely way overboard on the member berries in this one. Had me saying, oh, come on, man. Vic, please elaborate. I would like to hear more.
I agree.
Yeah.
But we'll elaborate when we get to the slides.
Yes. And Daniel's Hot Topics is here, which is dope. Hey, bud.
Hey,
OMG. Scotty, did you see Moriarty in the episode? Yeah. It was so dramatic. I loved it. Cut to black, then showed Moriarty. I hope this isn't the last that we see of him. It is. It's the last time you'll see him.
Yes. And it wasn't even really the sentient Moriarty that was in the Matrix cube. It was just a projection of Data's, or not Data, or whatever Brent Spiner is playing. His thoughts.
Yeah. Well, it was a weird. Yeah. It was weird. Apparently, Pop Goes the Weasel lives rent-free in Data's AI. So does the Crow from Birthright Part 1. And Moriarty lives there, too, with no mention of Catherine Pulaski. So I didn't like that.
Well, because he's not the sentient Moriarty, so I understand.
Right. Just an image. And Scogli also confirms what we were all afraid of. I'm afraid it will be Daniel. I was really hoping for some closure on the whole Moriarty story, but oh well, it was still fun to see him. It was. Yes, he was just an emanation from Data's memory. Hey, Phantom Boomer is here. Hello. Although he hasn't said hello to me, but I will say hello like a fawning schoolgirl from across the room. Hello, Phantom Boomer.
Hello, Phantom Boomer.
LDG sent me a message this morning. Thank you for being here, LDG, and I appreciate it. Yeah, well, Jill, and this is the interesting part. This is the message that he sent me. There's a full sensor scan of all 3 people who beam onto Daystrom Station. Yes?
There should be, yes.
No, there is. They show it visually. There is a
Yes.
visual laser scan of these 3 people.
Right, okay, that makes sense. But it still takes about 15, 20 minutes until it recognizes Riker.
Well, and then it says, please identify. And it's like, so what did you scan us for? They're wearing badges. They're wearing their comm badges.
Yeah, that should have all the information to identify them
like,
as people who should not have access. Yeah. And that's the message he sent.
That's it was really good, and I appreciated the touch in the morning. I was very hungover this morning, but I did appreciate how so many people were curious about my beer flu. Cardinal Sin says, call me when Laura shows up, and Vic says, yeah, I'm waiting until you guys actually start talking about the episode. Fine, I'll put a pin in it and we'll talk about the episode. My stars. The audience, we must cater. Jill?
Yes.
At the beginning of the episode, the what do you call it? The Titan is dropping sensor, what is it, like buoys?
Yeah, that's a buoy or a probe or
what were they? Transponders, they keep calling them. And so Starfleet vessels are searching for these, I guess, transponders. But also, the Shrike has found one of the transponders, and there is much arguing on the bridge of the Shrike between Vadic and what are not Jem'Hadar or changelings, just generic hockey people.
Changelings? They're not changelings?
They might be changelings.
They are changelings because, I don't know.
Well, no, they are.
Are they not?
They are changelings, but I don't understand. Okay,
why they talk weird?
Why do they talk weird? And also, why are they not in their like preferred form?
I don't know, but we confirm that Vadic is a changeling since she calls her crew brothers and sisters, so they're also changelings. That's how we know they're changelings.
Which also doesn't make any sense to have her have a changeling in her hand.
Right.
You shouldn't have to take off the thing, like your hand, to talk to the other changeling that is within you.
Which tells you that might not be a changeling.
Oh, is that? Oh, well, that's interesting. I always thought that thing was a changeling.
Well, I thought so too, but I don't know. They don't. These villains are still so one-dimensional. It's hard to tell anything.
Should I turn off the brand? I think I'm going to turn off the brand.
But these renegade changelings are, for me, they're proven to be even worse changelings than the Founders were at the worst of the Dominion War. Because one of the biggest rules of morality, then they didn't have many that the Founders followed, is that a changeling is never supposed to harm another changeling.
Agreed.
And so Odo was forced into harming one and paid the price for it. But here, Vadic isn't being forced into anything. Her officer just telling her some information.
Yeah.
Vaporizes him and then kills some more later. So
well,
the whole changeling hurts another is gone.
It's the whole trope of how bad is the bad guy? Will they kill their own people bad?
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of, yeah.
Like it's a worse version than when the Klingon played by Christopher Lloyd kills his crew member for shooting to destroy. Like it's worse than that.
Yeah, but I love Star Trek 3.
I know, me too. That's part of the member berry thing that I think they're trying to do here.
I do like this. Hakeem says, I thought the hand was a way to communicate with Red Skull. Either way, it looks stupid.
It does. Agreed.
So anyway, they fight because apparently they've been the Titan has been dropping the transponders and leaving, and then just drawing people to different places. And so, because of the insubordination of one of the Changeling crew, who apparently likes to look like a hooded predator, gets shot in the face. Right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
But you made the best point here. If they're tired of taking Federation form, why does Vadic take the form that she does? We don't know.
Don't know. No idea. Like, this is for the audience. So, and if you want to be like a solid, then have the reason that they were in the first place is because of the Jem'Hadar and the Vorta. They had to interact with the solids. They were happiest in the Great Link. But now, if these guys are like a splinter cell of the Great Link because they don't like how the Dominion War ended, fine. Just then, this is a place where you can either showcase the new design of the changelings, or you can have a showcase of so many Star Trek aliens, and like one changeling identifies as a Vulcan and another one identifies as a Ferengi or whatever.
That's true. Okay, so another reason why these changelings are worse than the Founders during the Dominion War is that the Founders wanted to control all of the solids in their vicinity, but these changelings want to destroy just everyone and exact vengeance for I guess the virus that Section 31 infected Odo with, which consequently infected all of the changelings. But at the end of the war, Odo healed everybody and moved to the Great Link in order to prove that the Federation are not a threat. And I guess this splinter group broke off from Odo and wanted revenge. I guess that's kind of plausible, I suppose. But I don't think the show has earned the reasoning for this yet.
No. Like, this is just retaliation for a war, right?
Yes.
All right.
And also, I also had a question about that language. My question is, if they're all changelings, why do they speak in that weird language? And every other changeling we've seen could be translated via the universal translator.
Yes.
So, nope, we don't know yet.
Well, no, I don't think. You know what? And we never will. The reason, like, look at this screenshot. This is just made to look villainous. We've got big, rough and tumble linebacker who's not a changeling. He looks more like, what's her name? The lady from Star Trek 6. Anyway, she looks like the lady from, it looks like the lady from Rura Penthe is what I'm saying. And it's like, you can look whatever you want like. Like, we're not, you don't, anyway.
Well, but not only that, okay, so also to look like bad guys, she's smoking. So why would a changeling need to smoke? And
agreed.
You're not going to like this, but this reminds me of another franchise. I was reminded of Harry Potter, and that's how I know this is fantasy, not sci-fi. When I'm reminded of when a character called Barty Crouch Jr. was pretending to be Mad-Eye Moody, and never mind who he is or why, but he was constantly drinking from this flask the entire novel or movie, and we only find out in the end that it's not liquor he's drinking, but a polyjuice potion, which has allowed him to become the person he was impersonating. So could the smoking be something like that, where the smoke is some kind of medicine or chemical that is allowing her to be something she's not? We don't know because we're not told anything.
Well, and I think that this is just an affectation. I don't think that there is any deeper meaning. She is evil, so she smokes.
That would be what I'd actually expect.
Yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, so evil people talking about evil things. Dun, 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 dun. Part 6. Lebunti. Anyway, so the Titan is outside of a star. And Beverly tells Picard that Jack has Irumodic syndrome. Right? Right.
Right. Yes. It's taken her 20 years to figure this out.
24. And it's really difficult because her son is actually 35. But so we go back to the holodeck, and apparently they only have one program.
Yes, forever stuck on 10 forward.
Well, yeah. Like, was the Enterprise D the only ship with a bar?
No, I
Okay,
wouldn't think so. The bar was built specifically for Guinan, but it became so much more than just her set.
that is true. And so this is a conversation about how Jack is confronting. It's not a very good slide because his eyes are closed. But he's confronting the fact that he has Irumodic syndrome. He's not crazy. He's broken. And thanks for the bum genetics pop. And yeah.
He accepts that he's probably going to maybe die.
As we all do, my dear boy. Anyway, so they have a talk. And
he wants an android body too.
He does want an android body too. And yeah, Jack says specifically, how did you survive Irumodic syndrome? And Picard says, I didn't. Or, sorry, Android M59 says, I didn't. And yeah, great.
Hello to Matt G in the chat.
Hey, Matt G is here. That's super faboo. Hello.
They're just drinking more Jameson. I don't have any more to add to the scene.
Well, I do.
You do.
I have one thing that really, really bothered me. Throughout this scene, there is the sound of ice clinking in the glass. And there is never ice in either of the glasses. It bothered me the moment I watched it for the first time. And it's not the only irrelevant sound choice that I found infuriating in this episode. So anyway, Worf and Raffi show up, and Raffi has eyes for 7. But it's nice that Worf and Picard and Riker and Beverly get a reunion. I enjoy this. This made me happy. This made me happy. Just seeing Beverly hug Worf. This is one of the happiest television moments I've had all year. It was emotionally manipulative. I am aware of this. But I loved this. How do you feel about this?
Worf also announces how long it's been since he's seen Picard, and it kind of reminds me of something Spock or Data might say.
Yes. But I appreciate the precision when it comes from Worf. Worf, Data, and Spock have a thing with precision, and I like it. So anyway, we get a briefing as to what they were going to do for this episode.
Oh, and he also did a good dig at the wine.
Oh, yes. The sour mead. It is very tart. Apparently, nobody in this season likes Chateau Picard as a wine, which I don't know if I like.
I do.
Would you like it better if they liked the wine? Oh, it was a fine vintage, Captain.
No, I'm glad they don't like it, because it's something that Picard would have never done with his life. He would have never gone back to mess around with wine. He would have gone around in caves trying to find artifacts.
That is true. Yeah, the vineyard was always more of Robert's thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
So that makes sense. I can appreciate that. Although, and also, I'm sure people would be upset if they were like, oh, Picard does everything perfect. Even his wine's good. But I wonder if the wine got bad when he turned into a synth.
Possible.
It is possible. So, meanwhile, back at Ocean's 11, we are planning to rob Daystrom Station. We're all here. We're having a meeting. And we're talking about how to get into The big red dot on the left. It's the oh my stars! It is the mainframe room, which has the the manifest of Daystrom Station, all of the things that they have, because as you'll remember, the portal gun got stole from here. So but the stealing of the portal gun was only to cover up what was the most important thing that was actually stole. Hey, Dalek is here.
Hello, Dalek.
Hey, Dalek. Sorry, that was like a flash. There we are. Hello, Dalek. It's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for paying attention. That's a weird way to say it, Scott. No, we're going to run with it. We'll edit it out in post. So anyway, we're going through Daystrom to find the manifest to see what was stolen, right?
Yes, correct. I have nothing.
Well, and then Raffi says, and because last episode, we stole a key from a Romulan that will allow us to get through the AI security system, which turns out not to be true.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they do. They also remind us about Deep Space Nine, and in case anybody's watching this and they don't know Deep Space Nine, they remind everybody. Well, they don't say Section 31, but we know that Section 31 put a plague on the changelings.
Yes,
and the Federation was kind of complicit until even when they found out about it. And so the thing about this is how the Filth is using the discretions of Federation from the past to heighten their reasoning for putting Star Trek into a dystopia now.
Yeah.
And so I would agree that those responsible for that should have gotten some type of trial after the war. But I also remember Julian and Miles being so outraged about it that they wanted to take down Section 31, as I do. And
well, yeah. Like one of the Jill, how do you feel about the use of Section 31 in the Filth?
it is used because it is the part of Star Trek that Kurtzman loves. It's it's the part of the show that he's proclaiming as the best part of it, and Terry is going along with it.
It just seems like a thing that everybody cares about.
Yes.
Or at least the showrunners
and
care
it's not
about.
a secret anymore.
Yeah, it's not a secret, which is, I don't know, everybody, like, first things first, the entire existence of Section 31 is sort of an abomination to the idea of Starfleet and the Federation from original conception, right?
Correct. Exactly. It goes against the original show Bible of Star Trek as it was incepted by Gene Roddenberry.
Right. And so whenever they keep bringing up this evil corner of Starfleet, first things first, you're losing the mystery of the situation. And then the second thing is that if it's a secret organization that everybody knows about, like, you're bad at your job.
They are. They even have their own comm badges now. Like, I mean,
Oh, it doesn't anyway. But we have a key to get into Daystrom Station, which apparently is going, and this is Daystrom Station, everybody. If you look to your left, you will see beautiful Daystrom Station. It is one of the most secure facilities in the Federation.
oh, where are the ships guarding it?
They're not there yet.
They come around on patrol once every hour, but there's no ships like all around the clock there. So this is where we get to the main action of the episode, which is a fairly decent heist plot to find out which the weapon that is worse than the portal gun.
Yes. It's not. Spoilers.
Yeah, it's not.
So Daystrom Station, Terry rips off Star Trek 2 and says, we're going to hide behind this moon so that nobody knows we're here. And Worf, Riker, and Raffi are going to go over to Daystrom Station. Right. But first things first. There is awkward banter between both Raffi and Seven in regard to the "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" and acknowledging somewhat their awkward relationship. And Worf himself says, "I have gone into battle several times with lovers, and it has always been." And it's like Seven says she's not going, and Worf is like, "Good, I was practicing deceit." And it's like, that's not a Worf thing, especially not. That's like a second season Worf thing.
That maybe could be a Worf thing after he's talked to Garrick, who was teaching him about lying.
Ooh, I like that. You're justifying it.
But
All right.
no, I actually didn't hate this because Worf does figure this out firsthand when he in that episode with when he has his honeymoon with Jadzia, and he saves Jadzia instead of the Cardassian, who had information that could have saved thousands or millions of people. I forget how many people.
Lots.
And after that, Cisco bars them from going on missions alone together after that. So, but I definitely agree that it was very clumsily and awkwardly written.
It was played for comedy, but it was also, again, it was almost like a lampshade kind of thing. It was like, yeah, we used to date, now we're awkward. All right, we're done with that now. Also, how did you feel about the transporter sounds?
I didn't have an opinion. What's yours?
Okay. They kept referencing like original series transporter sounds, and I was getting kind of frustrated with it.
Yeah,
Because
they
the
did.
Titan A is new. Why would it sound? It should, if anything, it should sound like Voyager transporters.
Agreed.
Even TNG is fine, but I'm just saying. Anyway, they beam onto Daystrom Station, and here's where LDG, with his glowing green eyes, scans all three of them and says, "Welcome to Daystrom Station. Please identify." After it scans. Good work. Why are you carrying a sword, sir?
Let's see. The thing about this is what happens when your home has just been burglared. Your sense of security goes up, not down. And so this station only has this AI security for break-ins, and no additional Starfleet officers or any type of extra security here.
So we get the key that we got from the Vulcan, and we put it in the slot, and everybody's happy. This is them realizing that they're happy. So back on the Titan, it is apparent that ships have shown up. Did I show the ships? No. Sorry. And ships have shown up, and they have to get out of there. And so they'll be back in an hour, they say. Which is that sounds like something I would say, and then be back tomorrow.
Smoking a hipster, I'll be back for breakfast.
Yeah.
For all you Red Dwarf fans.
It's like Terry Hatcher slapping me in the face and saying, and I say, "Is it something I said?" And she says, "How about the words, 'I'll be right back'?" Yeah, that'll do it. Anyway, so they're all, "Hello, are you gonna come back?" And they're like, "Yes." So the Titan leaves. See, there are the ships. There's one or two. There's a couple ships there. But yeah, the Titan leaves. And
oh yeah, the Titan leaves because they realize that they're being followed by Starfleet.
Well, and you know what? I didn't get a shot of it, and I wish I did. But LaForge says if they fire upon us and we survive, the residual radiation will make it so that they're available, like they can track us. If they shoot us, automatically they can track us. And it was a nice moment of a Starfleet ensign doing her job well, knowing the system, and knowing how, like, "Hey guys, just so you know." And Picard does say, "Spoken like a true LaForge."
And that actually does make some sense, but at the same time, weren't they able to track a ship based on their ion trail without having to shoot at it before?
Yes. Well, in Warp, I thought that one of the big things is that you can't. No, I'm thinking Star Wars. You can't track us in hyperdrive. or hyperspace. No, that's different. No, you could totally, based on trajectory, you totally could. It was a nice moment, but now that you've ruined the science fiction, and then now I'm thinking
was a nice moment, but
it was
what happened
good
to me when I rewatched it.
It was good technobabble, but it wasn't actually backed up by fake science.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, so this is the trio looking confused as to what just happened because they were like, that doesn't make sense. No, they could always try. Titan leaves, and Riker says we're on our own. So we walk around Daystrom Station. Sorry, what?
Yeah, they do.
And we get to see a couple of things that are on Daystrom Station. One of them is the Genesis 2 device.
Yeah, so apparently Section 31 made another Genesis device. All right.
Well, isn't Genesis 2 a Roddenberry show from the 70s?
I hadn't heard of it. Is it? Is it a good show?
Might be. Well, no, they were all canceled. Like Gene Roddenberry didn't make a nickel off of any of his other creations. But I thought Genesis 2 was a Roddenberry show that was like a brief, maybe even just a pilot. But anyway, this is...
I think it says here this is a movie, 74 minutes. Film. It says film.
Huh. Genesis 2. Maybe I'm very wrong. Maybe
I'm a TV movie.
Right. Is it Gene Roddenberry?
Was it a TV movie? Yes, Gene Roddenberry, you're right. A scientist who has been preserved in suspended animation wakes up to find himself in a primitive society in the future.
Much like us.
That's a fun premise. But it not rated too highly. So
they have like the Blu-ray? Section 31 has the Blu-ray. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I skipped over all of that. So when they beam aboard Daystrom Station, that's when Worf starts dropping science about all the things about Section 31 and says, oh, this is probably where all of... Did he say floor sweepings or something like that? It's like their dirty little secrets.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this is basically Area 51, but Section 31 in Daystrom Station.
Ooh. Section 31, Area 51. Interesting. And yet, this is what they did with it. Then we get the physical remains of one Captain James T. Kirk.
That is weird. This scene addresses one of the biggest grievances I have about Star Trek Generations. One of the things that I hate even worse about how Captain Kirk was killed in that movie was how Picard just throws some rocks on Kirk and just leaves him to the elements. So here we find that Section 31 has gathered the remains. I guess since we just see a skeleton here, it's just his skeleton.
Hang on.
He was just left be
not
composed.
Here's a thing, and this is because I do want to like this, and I'm okay with it. I'm not over the moon. It's not bad, but I have problems with it. Why do you think that it's Section 30? Like, I guess they just said everything that Section 31 wants to cover up is here. But it's Daystrom Station as well. Maybe it's stuff just Starfleet and the Federation want. And if you have the physical remains of James Tiberius Kirk, wouldn't you have that? Like, Starfleet would go back to Veridian 3 and be like, yeah, no, this is a lovely grave, but we're going to, preserve these remains. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's wrong that James T. Kirk was exhumed on Veridian 3 and taken to this space station?
Is it wrong? I would think that his remains should go to any next of kin he has.
Iowa, at least.
Yeah. You should go to the. So if you wanted to do the right thing, that would be the right thing. But this is Section 31, and they're allowed to not be Star Trek. So
yeah, and it is Section 31, so they have James Kirk's
excuse me.
body in a box in a, like, I don't know,
What are they
splayed.
doing with it? I don't know.
No one knows. It
Daniel's
doesn't
Hot
make any
Topics.
sense.
Daniel's Hot Topics thinks they're going to clone him.
Can't wait. Looking forward to that spinoff, Star Trek Kirk. And then we get Worf looking at something that sounds like a tribble.
Except it's hideously disgusting and horrifying.
I know. It is, and I didn't get the title, but it is an attack tribble.
That's what they call it. It's good enough for me. I didn't pause it to figure out what it is either.
But we've already seen one of these sort of tribbles on the animated series.
Are you talking about the predator?
Yeah.
Animal that eats tribbles? But this is a
Yes.
tribble that would eat the predator animal.
Oh, this is a tribble. Yeah. Oh, nice. Anyway, I just like doing this. This is fun.
Stop showing me that.
All right, I will. Anyway, Riker makes a joke and says, "Oh, the mighty warrior, frightened by the mightier tribble." And Worf does say, "Humor. You still use humor to cover your discomfort, or you take humor in the discomfort of others." And Riker says, "Come on, you used to poke back."
He did. He used to have something dry and funny to say, and he didn't.
"You have not once asked me about my wife," says Worf. And Will says, "What do you mean? You were married?" "Exactly." I would love it if someone brought up Jadzia.
That would be good. But I don't care how brave you are. If that thing jumps in your face, you're gonna react.
That thing?
Yeah.
I'll stop showing it to you now. I'm sorry about that. So anyway, yes. And also, Worf is referring to Will as Captain Riker. And even Captain Riker is saying, "Worf, call me Will. Come on." And I liked that. Oh, and the big joke. Remember the big joke?
No, you tell me.
Remember the big joke in the trailers that everybody was all up in arms about? And it was like,
oh, right.
"I have decided that I am a pacifist." And then Riker says, "Oh, we're all going to die." The thing is, and here's the worst part, I don't know. Is Worf like fucking with Will?
I guess so, because it works, and Will is quite obviously trolled by it, and can't believe it, and thinks things are not right.
I do. How do you feel about seeing Worf and Riker back together again? Did you enjoy this pairing?
Did I enjoy it? I don't know. I'm more distracted about how, in terms of Worf, how they keep trying to push the fact that he's meditating in the middle of battle, which is just not a thing that Klingons do. And so I looked up battle meditation. What I found is that it's some Star Wars thing, but they're ascribing it to Worf. And the only meditation I know about with Klingons is when Worf went to a temple to meditate, but that was in the religious context of trying to connect with Kalis and have some kind of vision, because he's feeling, not right.
Is it Boroth?
I don't remember, but Klingons are not telepathic like Vulcans, so to have this make any sense, it's just not a Klingon thing.
Boreth, I think. But
I mean, their connection I didn't really feel anything genuine from it, but I didn't really hate it. I don't know.
Well, and I didn't necessarily. I was trying to like their reconnection, because again, this is when Worf got his spine broken. He asked Riker to stab him in the chest. And so the friendship between Riker and Worf has always been a strong one for me. Like, it's something that I want a friend like either Worf or Riker, and I've had many. But when I see them again now, I do understand where Riker is coming from, and he's like, "Come on, man, we used to play."
Well, the problem is that whenever they get close to having any kind of bonding moment, they're always interrupted. Like here, Rappy interrupts them to get them back on track on the mission.
Well, yes, it's like, yeah, she is. And I think I said, yeah, well, Mom spoke, so we got to go into the mission. But the Daystrom station has like this red computer overlay paying attention to people and recognizes William T. Riker. Riker, William T. Will, Starfleet personnel file. Rank, captain. Serial number, clearance assessment unknown. Full name, William Thomas Riker. Date of birth, August 15th, 2235. Place of birth, Alaska, Earth. Parents, Kyle and Betty, which is nice. I enjoy a Kyle Riker shout out whenever I can get one, which is not often. Educator, Starfleet Academy. Graduated 8th in his class. And marital status, married to Deanna Troi. Horrible woman. Nasty, nasty woman. Anyway, there's a crow.
A holographic one.
It is, as you'll see here, because it's kind of phasing. But there's also music blasting over the comm system of the Daystrom station.
And Riker can recognize the notes because he's a musician. He played the
good
trombone.
one. And a good one. How do you feel about Riker in general?
Riker in general, it was a decent character in the Next Generation, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him in general.
How have you felt about him in this season?
I don't really go into this with feelings, I guess. I don't know, man. You're revealing.
I'm curious because like I'm a Riker fan. And I've heard a lot of people say that Riker is not their favorite. Aggressively, they've said Riker is gross. And I really enjoy, and especially when they bring up, like, and this is one of those, I don't even want to call it a member berry, but it's just, I guess it's like good character writing, which is hard to say. But like this season is nailing Riker. Phrasing. Is getting Riker right in my mind. I like Riker a lot.
You think he's being portrayed correctly? I guess that makes sense for you to say that because you're a fan of him. I guess I'm not a huge fan of Riker. But I don't think any of the characters feel like they did in TNG. And I know 20 years have passed, but they really don't give me too much to work off of to understand their changes. But I guess if you want to say which of the TNG actors are least modified, I guess he would be it.
I'm enjoying the characterization of all of the Next Generation actors in this season, except for Picard, because he's a robot. Anyway, there's a crow, and there's
except for the crippling depression they gave Riker, but it was cured by the Farpoint jellyfish, so don't worry about that.
Well, yes. And I am looking forward to, and I hope it actually happens, is that Ben from Cinema Gulp said that he wanted to do a full Picard review when he can binge it. Just watch it, episode 1 to 10, and then let's talk about it.
He's smarter than we.
And I think in many ways. And I'm looking forward. I hope he does it. And I'm going to stand outside his house and say, let me in, as when he does it. And I hope that I can be a part of that. Because I think that there is a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up. And once we see the conclusion, I think that this, I don't know. I like getting the band back together, and I said it several times while we were watching it. But speaking of getting the band back together, here is an arbitrary reference to Professor Moriarty.
Right. We find out that this Moriarty reference in the trailer was for mostly nothing. It was just to get people excited because this is not our sentient Moriarty. This is just a holographic program meant to display thoughts from who they called Data in this episode. Data it actually is dead. But so this is just a projection of Moriarty. So the real Moriarty is probably still in his cube in his matrix.
With the Countess Regina.
Yeah.
Which is better. Like, I would rather that.
Yes.
But this is, as we learn, as we decide, not decide. Anyway, I did want to go back to the chat, but I want to get the guy with the gun off the page. There we go. So, computer security, Moriarty with a gun. Here's the Titan. I would like to talk to the chat for a second, if that's cool with you, Jill.
That is cool with me.
Daniel says, and I hear a blink and you miss it. See the refit NX-01 Enterprise behind the Klingon bird O prey. I think I got a shot of it. I actually captured that one. And for anyone who doesn't know what Daniel's talking about, they were going to refit the NX-01 for season 5 of Enterprise, and it was going to have a secondary hull, thusly the evolution of the Enterprise. Sadly, as we all know, Enterprise was canceled in its 4th season, at the end of its 4th season, and they never got to do the refit. But yes, there is a blink and you'll miss it NX-01 refit at the Fleet Museum.
Yes, we'll be getting to that scene next.
We will. Infinity says, Captain Infinity says, I think the writers have their memories wiped at the end of each episode. Well, yeah, but ours are not. Daniel says, I hear the last ring, the empty one, will be for the Enterprise F. I don't know. I want to see an Enterprise. I can't wait to see an Enterprise. Actually, you know what? I don't want to see an Enterprise. Who's going to be the captain of the Enterprise? Can you even imagine, Jill? If the Enterprise shows up, who the hell are you going to put on the bridge of the Enterprise as captain?
I always wanted a Captain Data, but he's dead. We already know what Worf is doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Worf was captain of the Enterprise E, apparently, in the books.
Okay.
Apparently. That's what I heard.
That's cool.
LDG says she is. The doctor said that you had to cut out the flesh or organ before it turns to goo. Yeah. That is how you figure out whether or not it's a changeling. You have to take out their kidneys and squeeze them. Daniel says, the thing that Vatic was talking to a few episodes ago was Satan. Oh, I'm sorry. What does Satan need with a starship? Scogli says, Vatic is one-dimensional and overwritten at the same time. Good job, team. I don't think she's overwritten. I think she's one-dimensional, and then that one dimension is brought to life by the incredible Amanda Plummer. And I know some people don't like Vatic, but I think that Amanda Plummer is amazing. No matter.
I don't like her, but I agree that her performance is good.
Right. I don't like Vatic, but I like the performance of the actor. Hakeem says, I thought the hand was a way to communicate with Red Skull. Either way, it was stupid. Agreed. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, LDG is saying that Terry uses Chat GPT 1.0 to write Bald Spaceman. Picard.
No, LDG, if that were true, this might be a good series.
Computers are smarter than us. Vatic says, no, they're not. Vatic says, or sorry, Vic says, I think that Vatic's dialogue here at the start was written a little better. Like Jill said, she went from 3rd grade to 9th grade. Yeah?
Yeah, the writing has gone up a bit in terms of the intelligence of it. I have to admit that.
Cardinal Sin says the showrunner naming Metalis Prime after himself is so self-insert it makes me yak. Yeah.
Oh, actually, the fact of that is that the writers of Star Trek Enterprise named a planet for Terry Metalis when he was working on the show, and Terry's just overusing his planet.
It's the only planet that gets a title card.
Yeah, it's the only planet that's important in this season.
Apparently. And Scogli agrees. The Metalis system is from Enterprise. He just brought it back, which is fair. Jill, can you finish this joke from Cardinal Sin? A Vulcan, a Ferengi, and a Cardassian walk into a bar.
Oh man, you're the comedian here.
Oh, never mind. You don't have to do anything. I just thought it was funny.
It is funny.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Scogli says it's really too bad they didn't give her a handlebar mustache. I think that would have been bitchin'. And she's a changeling. She could do whatever she wants. Cardinal Sin says, Phantom Boomer. Oh, I thought it didn't go quite so well. I need to do a better. Oh, heavens. I don't know. Hang on. A better job of editing the stuff I get from Albert before the show. But thanks. Glad you enjoyed it. Well, I'm glad that everyone else enjoyed it. And one of these days, I will, read the things. Vic says, yeah, I just laugh at the one holodeck program now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you want to start where you are in the chat, Mega Reacts has given you a gift.
Oh, really?
A nice number.
I have to scroll down. Hey, Mega Reacts with my favorite number. Thank you so much, Mega Reacts. I appreciate it. And go check out Mega Reacts channel. He has amazing content on his YouTube channel. I don't know what he's watching, but I enjoy his enthusiasms.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I'm joking. I've seen his videos. Well, now I've completely lost.
Well, I told you to start.
I should have. Dalek says they messed up the tribbles too. Oh, come on. Well, they didn't mess up the tribbles.
Maybe it's not as bad as eating tribble cereal with the fur and everything still on.
Right. Like they didn't short trek it. Remember when they had H. John Benjamin on a short trek and they made, we can eat them. And it was like, no, that is not a thing the Federation does. Anyway. Jill, let me see.
Yes.
I have a request.
What is your request?
My request is, can you continue on from this chat while I go and visit the head?
Oh, well, okay, yes, I can.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. And Cardinal Sin says, do you know what they should have done? Is give season 8 of DS9 for 10 episodes. Yes, but not under Secret Hideout. God, no, that would be awful. With these creators, it wouldn't have worked. But if you watch What We Left Behind, the Deep Space Nine documentary, then you see a writer's room of actual Star Trek writers who know what they're doing, Ronald D. Moore and the rest, who gave a pretty decent season 8, episode 1 of Deep Space Nine, which I thought was really interesting. Really got into the characters in a realistic way that I thought would have been really fun to see. And with making Kira the head of Deep Space Nine and kind of a figure in the Bajorian community, that was fun to see. And when they bring the changelings back into the picture, they do bring in the Jem'Hadar. Like, where the hell are the Jem'Hadar here? Nowhere. No Jem'Hadar, no Vorta. They're a package deal. The Dominion is not just one. It's you're supposed to have three races. So you have the changelings and the genetically created Jem'Hadar and the Vorta, who were also genetically modified but evolved. Anyway, yeah, I agree. That would have been more fun. And Phantom Boomer says, blame the Foley person for that. Huh? Blame
the
him for
Foley.
what?
No, the Foley person is the person who's responsible for ambient sound effects. And I think that Phantom Boomer is referring to my argument regarding the ice clinking in 10 forward. That's called the Foley, the person who's responsible for that stuff.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's neat.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me about television.
Well, thank Phantom Boomer. And movies, too. Boomer. Same deal.
Cardinal Sin continues, the purpose of a screenplay, whether for TV or film, is to evoke an emotional response in the viewer. In that case, it succeeds. Yeah, there's a lot of emotion pushed in this episode.
Well, and Cardinal Sin, I gotta say, but the thing is that like I agree with you, and this episode did succeed, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I felt emotionally manipulated.
That's exactly what it was. Victor Fontaine says the Picard wine is not exactly prune juice. Right, it's not a warrior's drink.
You need a Shiraz, Worf. Then why would Picard send him like a Cabernet? Oh my God. What are you sending to Worf? Jean-Luc, you're not a vintner.
Yeah, I think Terry might be making fun there.
No, I know. He literally is just being boo.
Which is good. I don't know. Right. I kind of like that.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah, that he makes fun in season 1 and 2. It's just that he's not all that much better, but he's just better enough to be able to make fun of what's worse than he is.
But it's just a weird thing to know that Chateau Picard is shit wine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I'm very angry.
That's fair.
Like if I went to a restaurant and said, "Do you have any Chateau Picard?" and they were like, "Get out. We don't carry that swill." I'd be like, "But I like it. I'm supporting the guy who saved the planet a lot."
Oh, okay, maybe he's actually advertising it. And so now we're talking about it and they're trying to sell the inventory that they haven't gotten rid of.
It is the new Coke of wine. New Coke was an attempt to revamp Coca-Cola, the beverage, in the mid-1980s.
Am I still doing chats?
No, we can.
Says Jordy. And Dalek is here. We said hi to him earlier.
We did. And Daniel's Hot Topic says, all hail Section 31.
Yeah, he also says they mentioned Section... Yeah, they do mention it, but when they were specifically talking about the virus that was implanted in the changelings, they didn't mention it, just to make it seem like Starfleet did it. Starfleet is bad. And, and of course they were complicit in it after they figured it out, but they didn't start it.
Jill, would you like to read this chat?
Daniel's Hot Topic says, thank God for Ira Stephen Bear. He created Section 31. Thank you, Ira Stephen Bear. Ira Stephen Bear is a good Star Trek writer, and he had some interesting ideas, but I do not like Section 31.
I do not either. Well, I would have liked Section 31 if it was something that was to be defeated.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what O'Brien and Julian wanted to do. They
Yeah.
were absolutely disgusted, as any Starfleet officer would be after hearing what they've done. And I would have loved to see those two take on Section 31 somehow.
Well, they
That would be a
essentially,
fun Deep Space Nine movie.
by killing Sloane, they essentially did, or at least I thought they did.
Right, oh
Like,
right, when they infect his mind.
I do not like Section 31 whatsoever. I think it flies in the face of the entire mandate of the Federation and Starfleet. And I know that it's Article 31, very clever, but
Mm,
I do not. The only reason they used it in Enterprise was that to show the origins, not to say that it was something that was in existence throughout Starfleet.
right.
It was to show their rough and tumble, dirty beginnings, and then O'Brien and Bashir took it down, and it was
Yeah,
supposed to be
right.
done. But
It
then
should have
again,
been.
you get Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh.
And that was written so well. That episode
Yeah,
where they go into Sloane's mind.
there is no Section 31. It
That
only exists here, is what he
that is
says.
the peak of their friendship right there.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, in that one time, never mind. I was going to say something rude about Keiko. So, meanwhile, back on the Titan, they are at the Fleet Museum. It's the old space dock from Star Trek 3, I would say, because we did at the beginning of the series see the new space dock, and I thought that stuff had been built upon it, but apparently no. It is a brand new space dock around Earth, and the Fleet Museum is the space dock.
Basically a ship graveyard for the best and most remembered ships.
Museum is different from a graveyard.
Yeah. And this is the
Memorial.
perfect time to run into Geordi, who's head of the museum.
Oh,
Right?
Jill, would you like to do a duet?
I I'm not very good
No?
at singing, but I do know the song.
Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's
It's
in a
in the
book.
book.
It's
Reading
Geordie
name.
LaForge.
Oh, Geordi.
Thank you. I appreciate you playing, and I'm sorry for putting you in an awkward position. But yeah, so we get Geordie LaForge, and he says, "Shut down your fucking ship." And Picard says, "But Geordie, we need your help." So he beams aboard, and I really, again, more hugs. And the reason that I included this screenshot is simply because remember when in the first episode, Geordie is explaining the visor.
Yes.
First episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. And it is like I thought this was very touching. This made me well.
Wow.
So, yeah. There is something about a man who is reliant on his doctor and has a good relationship with his doctor. And Beverly seems to be a nice lady, and I liked this. And especially because I think that Geordie is one of the most emotional people, or at least emotionally intelligent people, aside from his lack of dating experience, which seems to be quelled because he has 2 daughters now.
Well,
But
that's why he made such a great best friend for Data.
well, we'll get there, and that made me, oh my stars, emotional baggage.
What I liked in this scene was that he said the thing that I said in the very first episode at the beginning of this entire season, which is that gathering all the ships in one spot for a parade is a stupid idea.
I thought that was dope. That was great. You've been right the entire time, Jill. How does it feel? Would you like anything?
Um,
Can I buy you a pizza? Would you like some roses?
chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. I will send them. Anyone who wants to send chocolate chip cookies should go and subscribe to Jill's channel and send her cookies. Blow her kisses.
Also, we meet Alondra, right?
We do meet Alondra, although I didn't get many. There she is.
She's played by Micah Burton, LeVar Burton's real daughter.
Yes. I would like to say that while there was much ballyhoo about Micah Burton being in, is it Micah or Mika? I feel anyway.
Oh, is it Mika?
It could be. I don't know. Not a lot of lines. I don't know. I feel like I think it's a nice familial connection, but I don't think it. Like I like Sid better.
Well, Sydney has more of a identity, having been in more episodes so far.
Well, would you hang out with your dad all the time? I wouldn't. But this is, and I didn't want to get into familial problems.
Well,
not that you have any, but no, but this is exactly. So the rest of this, what you're seeing right now is Picard and Geordi talking about how much danger Picard has put everybody in, right?
Yes. And Picard he's asking for help. He's asking his friend for help. However, Geordi won't help because he doesn't want to risk his life or his daughter's lives any longer. Forgetting, I guess, yeah, right. The theme of this episode is that Geordi's forgotten that the Enterprise crew is also his family, and he needs his daughter, Sydney, in this episode to remind him of this. And that kind of rings a little bit false for me.
How so?
Because I don't think Geordi would forget his past like that.
How do you mean that he wouldn't forget? Okay, see, here's my interpretation instead of just being like, why? My interpretation is that Geordi is an older man who is married, has a family, and his priorities are no longer the moving into the stars, but protecting his corner of the galaxy.
Right. So then why is he still serving for Starfleet if he wants to become more of a family guy?
He's a commodore of a museum. He is serving Starfleet because, it's not a bad gig. But he's not on a ship.
Okay.
Like, don't forget, in what is it? In Voyager, he was the captain of the Challenger, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Which was a Galaxy class ship, if I remember correctly, although I could be wrong. Correct me in the chat. And so I was happy that he had found, he just wants to.
Yeah, he's changed his priorities.
Well, he's got 2 daughters. Anyway, I'm. Do you have any criticisms about Geordi and his and where he is now?
No.
Good, great, good talk. I love it when we agree.
But Alondra reminds us of some upgrades to fleet technology because now apparently all the ships are interconnected somehow. All we know is that they're somehow connected via security codes or something, so that each ship is a beacon. But if you're going to make every ship a beacon to each other, what stops an enemy from hacking into that network? And then if they could find one ship, they can find them all. This is an absolutely idiotic move by Starfleet, unless, of course, it was the changelings who implemented the ship connection between all of the starships so they could find all of the ships at once and destroy them. Just like it was probably the changelings who set up Frontier Day to collect all the ships together to destroy them.
No, you can't think that.
I can't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, I think you're being too paranoid. I think that that's something that even if we were okay in the middle
Why
of the
is this
Dominion
nonsense
War,
happening then?
why is this nonsense happening? Um, you're probably right.
Oh wow, that was a quick turn.
Yeah, now that I actually thought about it, yes, because it like let's not forget every piece of this show is part of a bigger story, and we're moving forward to find out, and then we're going to figure out that the person who orchestrated Frontier Day was actually on the side of the changelings, and we're going to blow it all up.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going
where
to
the
be
big battle's gonna happen. I knew that
it's going to
from that
be
first episode.
it's going to be Starfleet Pearl Harbor is what the changeling wants.
Mhm.
I still, you know what? We got to talk about this changeling thing later.
Okay,
Anyway,
sounds fun.
does it? All right.
No.
So we're still at the station, and I got a lot of shots of the station because I think it looks cool. And Moriarty is still
Yeah,
there.
that's the funny thing that whenever you actually have a scene that's well lit and looks good, it's in space.
Well, I thought the lighting on the Titan was actually pretty good.
It was better this episode than any other.
So Moriarty is there. And Worf, this is the reason. Hang on, I have to cough.
Oh, right. Scotty R37 is happy to finally see a phaser beam.
A beam. I do not like pulse phasers. I am not a fan. And so when I finally got to see Worf fire a phaser, which looks like a Type 1 from Next Generation, I was like, yay! I
Also,
do.
this
Sure.
episode remembers that the stun exists.
That's true too. Well, not for long. So, unfortunately, none of the weapons actually harm our holographic antagonist. But, and see, this is
But
where
member
they're
berries.
the member berry. This is all member berries. You know how many member berries there are? This many.
5 million.
I just show a lot of member berries. So Riker is recognizing the musical notes that are playing over Daystrom Station that apparently doesn't maintain lighting, shoots sparks when there are intruders, shakes violently for no reason, and plays music. And I guess this is because, spoilers, Data's in charge.
Well, it's not exactly Data, but they do call him Data. And so we're sent into this member berry of the very first episode of The Next Generation, in which Riker meets Data, who is trying to whistle the Pop Goes Weasel song, and Riker helps him finish it to Data's appreciation.
Yes.
Nothing. Oh, yeah.
Can you whistle?
I cannot.
Oh, me either.
Nothing like making you forget you're not watching Star Trek than to insert real Star Trek directly into the show.
Well, it's encountered Farpoint. It's not like it's a gold standard.
It's one of my favorite season 1 episodes. I know a lot of people don't like Encounter at Farpoint, but I kind of do.
Great joy and gratitude.
Okay. Troy notwithstanding, it's kind of a cool creature.
It is a cool creature. It's a cool idea. It's got Groppler Zorn.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they bring back Groppler Zorn?
I don't know.
Anyway, I really enjoyed the de-aging. It was good.
It's not de-aging. That's a good joke, though.
It is a good joke. That's why I reused it. Anyway, and so Riker, pop goes the weasel, and Moriarty says the exact same thing. I did enjoy this. That made me happy. Marvelous. How you humans can do that. He doesn't say how you humans can do that, but he says marvelous. And then Riker explains. He's like, I taught that tune to another dear friend about 20 years ago, and he could not whistle. And there is Riker, William T., and there is he. Like, look at this. This is crazy. Look at the de-aging. There he is, man of the hour, Tower of Power, the guy who will always collect paychecks from Star Trek. It is Brent Spiner. Hey, look who it is. It's the guy who will always collect paychecks from Star Trek. It's Brent Spiner.
Hello, Brent Spiner.
Really?
Yeah. He's there.
He is there. I wouldn't say I love him. Meanwhile, and we can talk about that later. Meanwhile, back at the Fleet Museum, look at that. Like, what do we got?
All the ships.
All of the ships. So, yeah, LaForge is still saying, like, I'm trying to protect my family and I cannot go and do the things that we did before. Please don't put my family in danger. I am your family and I need your help. So the LaForge daughters confer, and, they're sisters. What do they confer about? It's like, I think in this scene, she just leaves and says, I know he's very stubborn. And then she walks away. I don't think anything really happened.
That sounds right. Yeah, no, if something happened, I would have remembered.
Right. There is one that I should have got a picture of Jack and the LaForges, the Picards and the LaForges. But I didn't. Anyway, while we're at the museum, we get a little bit of starship porn.
Yeah, this is what is so manipulative, because this right here, the Defiant, is my second favorite ship, only second to the 1701. And I don't know, this is not cool, because any Star Trek fan loves to see the ships. So obviously, seeing ships is fun.
Yes. And probably written in like that Geordi is the Commodore of the ship museum just so we can show off ships.
Exactly. To pull at your heart.
But it is good to see the Defiant. And also,
yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that you don't get by just looking at the slides and us jawing about it is they play the themes. Like there are musical acknowledgments of the Deep Space Nine theme in this instance, and it's great.
It exists. They put the musical cues from Deep Space Nine and Voyager. And
I do like that they have a constitution, like a 23rd century constitution class. This is the USS New Jersey, NCC 1975. I kind of wish it was 1978, but I have reasons for that. But yeah, I think that that's a great rendition. Look at the glow off of the saucer. Not the saucer, the deflector. Like, I love this. I loved seeing this. This is my favorite. Mm-hmm. It's not the Enterprise, but I do love a Constitution class. Now, some people prefer the Constitution refit or the updated Constitution. I don't know what you would call it. If it's like it's new, it's not refit. It's just the new version of the Constitution, I guess. And this is Kirk's Enterprise.
Yes, it is. The best thing that came from watching this episode is when Scotty, R37, and I decided that not this Friday, but next Friday, we're going to discuss Star Trek 6.
Yes, that is actually a thing we're doing. Please subscribe to Antiderivative channel. Her channel is linked in the description. And if you want to click on that, We've already done Generations and Star Trek 5.
So this time we're gonna watch a good one.
I liked the other two, you weirdo. Oh, and Jack says he's a Constitution class man, but somebody gets moist for an Intrepid class. That is the class of the Voyager, is Intrepid, yes?
Yes. Yes, it is an Intrepid. This one tries to make up for 2 seasons of ignoring Seven's past by having her remember that Voyager was her family, who helped her find her individuality.
Yeah. I've always, and that's something that I've had against Picard from the beginning, is I don't know why 7 is there and it's not incorporating more Voyager people.
Right.
Like, we've seen recently a holo emitter on Picard. And do they have, whatchamacallit, the Doctor? No. Apparently, I read a brief snippet of a headline of an interview that I saw as I was using the internet like a strobe light. That Robert Beltran was actually approached to be a part of Star Trek Picard, and he was like, "Nope."
Good job, Robert Beltran. I'm proud of that man.
Well, he's on Prodigy if you want.
Oh, right. Well, that's a different producers, Nickelodeon.
True.
And they still kind of don't get things right, but different story over there. I don't know what's happening.
Well, and you know what the best part about Star Trek Prodigy is?
Yeah.
Star Trek Prodigy made me buy Voyager. So I'm going to watch Voyager instead of Prodigy.
Good idea.
So yeah, this is exactly, and I just wanted to, for one moment, appreciate the beauty of Jerry Ryan. But she's reminiscing about how she didn't have a family, and Jack says, "Oh, you're looking for another one," and that is, it's
right.
about family.
Right. That's where she mentions Voyager's her family because they're looking at Voyager.
Yes, this one.
And this scene wasn't written as bad as the other episodes either.
Well, but again, there's been so much. We've had 2 hugs. We've had Beverly hugging Worf, Beverly hugging Geordi. Like, there is such a reunion feeling. And then they start pulling out the cars and being like, "Remember this? I do. Remember this? I do. Remember this? I do. I am happy." Oh, no one talks about this one very much. I love it. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, the Klingon bird of prey.
What did I say?
What did you say? Remind me.
I said this better be the Rataran. It better be the Rataran.
But it's not.
It's not the Rataran. What is it?
The Bounty. From my favorite movie, Star Trek The Voyage Home.
3 Men and a Baby.
Both directed by Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, but I thought 3 Men and a Baby was your favorite movie.
No,
you lied to me.
Did I say that?
No.
I do love that movie from my childhood, but I don't think that's my favorite.
We should do that. We should talk about 3 Men and a Baby only because it is directed by Leonard Nimoy.
That would be funny.
It would be funny. It's a comedy. Do it for April Fool's Day. Is that a Friday? Anyway.
Right. I was thinking of April Fool's Day too. Wow. How did you... Okay, that's too weird.
This is why we're friends. So this is the HMS Bounty from Star Trek 4. And they actually do. Like, with every one of these ships, they play musical cues that work with and again, it's just manipulation. It's not like, I don't know. When I buy a greatest hits album and I hear all of their greatest hits, am I upset about it? I'm aware what I went into. And Star Trek Picard is turning into a greatest hits album.
It is, and this is actually the only ship out of all the ships that is not just here for show. It actually has a meaning towards the plot.
And it's in the title of the episode.
Yeah, Jack and Sydney are gonna steal it.
So anyway, I don't know. Did you guys?
I mean, not the ship, the cloaking device.
I don't remember. Did we get in? Like, okay, so guys, we're in the mainframe now. We got in the mainframe. And so Worf and Riker and Raffi, you know that handsome devil in the background there? That's a replicant.
Right.
You're welcome.
They made not Data. I don't know what to call him because they want to call him Data, but
I want to call him Soong.
okay.
Okay. Lore before
You're
Data are all created by Soong. Okay?
Yes.
Lal was created by Data, which
Right.
which would make Soong Lal's grandfather. Right?
Yes.
And it is also with Alton Soong's input.
Yes, because he wanted to extend his life with the golem they gave Picard. So instead, he made this.
Yes.
Which is an amalgamation of all of those people.
The best of us, he says, so that we can all come together and be the best of all of us. Which, although it's dismissive, I do appreciate that they say that there is some value to lore. No matter how much of a prick that guy was, I still think he had value.
Yeah, as long as his psychotic tendencies don't become in control of this entity.
Right.
Then fine. If it's just some minor personality traits.
Hey, I came up with an idea and I want to ask you a question. Okay. What if what we've been experiencing now through STD and Strange New Worlds and Picard and Lower Decks, what if this is just like the lore years where everything is just evil Data?
Explain?
Would you be able to forgive it moving forward?
Explain.
I am in a position now that I am angry at the filth. I have been since I saw War Crimes in the first episode of STD. And I don't like the way that Lower Decks undermines the responsibility of Starfleet.
Yes. Agreed.
I think that Strange New Worlds is kind of a bad cover song, and it doesn't make any sense for me to boldly go where people have already gone before in the 23rd century, because we're beyond that. Like,
yeah,
narratively,
I have so many problems with
narratively, we're beyond that.
Yes.
The only one that I can give credence to is Prodigy, and I haven't even seen it yet. So I'm just saying that, considering how much filth
I
you
feel
have had
like
to contend
is like
with,
just kids with the coloring book, and you can't really make fun of them that easily.
Yeah, but I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like, I have to know whether or not it's intelligent writing for children. Come on, we just finished up over on Pop Culture Curators channel. We talked about all of the Star Trek animated series.
Well, the animated series was intelligent Star Trek for anyone, not only
Right.
just children. And that is the best kind of way to create good children's television, is by not coddling them.
And I do not know whether or not Prodigy coddles or if it's actually good.
Oh, I do want to say hello to Tom Jr. Jackson, and also Resolute Germ has been making some killer comments.
Well, you have buttons. You can click anything you want. Hey, Tom. Hey, Resolute. I'm sorry for yelling at you, Jill. I apologize. I'm a mean man, and I will sit in the corner and think about what I've done.
Okay. Resolute Germ says he's not Data, he is a plot convenience.
Well, he does say such.
Yes.
Oh, my stars.
But what were you saying about lore? Like lore is what? Like
redeemable.
Redeemable? What?
Yes.
Why? He basically started a Borg kind of fascism thing.
Right.
And brought Data into it. How? Is he okay? I don't know.
What are Lore's last on-screen words?
You tell me.
I love you, brother. Or brother, I love you. Those are the last words that Lore speaks in Descent Part 2. And I believe him.
Yeah, but even if he has love for Data, that doesn't change his sociopathy.
I think that, and this is one of the battles that I've been having with Star Trek fans all over the internet and the world, because I'm dangerous or something.
You're dangerous?
Oh. Yeah, totes. No, actually, I just bought the Michael Jackson album. That's all. I bought Dangerous. And but I think that the goal of Star Trek is that even if Lore has done all the awful things, there are positives, and we should help. That's what Star Trek does. There are positives, and we should help. Like, it's not going to be fun, but there are positives.
If there's a way to improve Lore's programming to help him with his problems, then sure, I'd be interested in that story.
But that's how I feel. But that's how I feel about a modern Star Trek, and that's why I sort of that's why I dropped a lore metaphor. Is that I think that the filth is just the lore era, not in terms of world building, but actual physical, the guy.
Oh, and it's like, okay, now I know what you're saying.
We can help. We can move forward through this. Just because shit is bad doesn't mean it's going to be terrible forever.
I understand your meaning now.
You're still wary of it, though.
Yes, absolutely.
And there it is, top right-hand corner to Dan. Daniel's Hot Topics. He wanted to see the NX-01 refit. Well, there it is. It's right there. It's at the back of the line. Then you get a Container class, Klingon battle cruiser. Well, I can't. You zoom in. Enhance.
Magnifying.
And then you get the bounty in the front there. But I did get a shot. So, but that's basically like if you go through the episode and try and find this image, it's going to look this good. Yes, Geordi is also disappointed in my slide making, and Picard understands.
No, don't worry. It's just the way the show is. You did perfect.
Thank you. Meanwhile, sure. Meanwhile, Soong is just hanging out. They're listening to how the Soong synth is going to be an amalgamation of Lal before Soong himself, Alton, and Data. Lots of Data. And that's the end of his final log. I don't know why, but I found this fascinatingly great to have. And wait. Mm-hmm. So these guys are figuring out that Soong is actually the manifest and the individual who has all the information that we have to find out. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah, like he's Yeah, he has all the information and knows what weapon is more dangerous than the portal gun. I have to be right back.
Okay, I'm going to check out some chat. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to find a better... I'm gonna click around the buttons.
Oh, before I go though, good night to Phantom Boomer.
Phantom Boomer, good evening, and thank you for being here. I'm gonna hang out with the chat with this image. Oh, Phantom Boomer, I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up, which is exactly what my Tinder profile says. Thank you so much, Phantom Boomer. Old man, gotta hit the sack. Night all. Good night, and thank you for being here. Daniel's Hot Topic says, bring back lore. I would love if lore personality gets control. I don't like that. You know what? And also, well, no, I wish there was a redemption. I want a redemption for lore, but that's also what I'm holding out for when it comes to Raffi. Like, I'm looking forward to these characters being engaging. Hakeem says, I wonder what a tribble tastes like. Have you ever had a chicken ball? I'm pretty sure the same thing. That's what I heard. Oh, wait. Phantom Boomer says tribbles taste like robot chicken. Rabbit chicken. I've never had rabbit, I don't think. Is it salty? See, it sounds salty. Daniel's Hot Topics says, I love Ronald D. Moore. He had enough brass to give Roddenberry the finger and create Section 31 and the Dominion. He did not like Roddenberry, and I can't blame him. Well, I think you're conflating Ronald D. Moore and Ira Stephen Bear. And it's a weird, it's been a long road getting from there to here. Every time I sing the Enterprise theme song, I lose a listener. I think that Ira Stephen Bear is a great writer for Star Trek, but I think he goes against the idea of Star Trek, but that's why I like him as a writer of Star Trek. I think that Ronald D. Moore adheres to the rules of Star Trek and makes my heart sing with the idea of what Roddenberry made, what his vision was. And I think Michael Piller is the Gene L. Kuhn of the next generation, although I could be overstating my awareness. But if anything, I think all of the writers of all of the series, what Jerry Taylor was the writer of, she was the showrunner for a brief time on Voyager, and I thought that Jerry Taylor, is it Jerry Taylor? I thought that
Yes, Jerry Taylor's right.
I thought her injection into the Star Trek universe was absolutely glorious and really elevated. Like, part of the reason why I'm calling Voyager soy and whatever is because that's exactly how it was viewed when it was released. There's a woman captain.
I didn't experience any of that. I watched Star
How
Trek in a
old were
complete
you?
vacuum. I was 19 when I finally discovered Star Trek, and I watched all of it within a year, and I was just in love with every bit of it. There were some episodes I didn't like, but
when
overall,
it
it was a good
started,
binge.
how old were you when it started?
Star Trek itself, like
No. Voyager.
Oh, let me see. When did Voyager start?
I think like 97.
So about 12.
You were about 12 years old. Like, I would have been about 19 when Voyager first premiered. And yeah, there were people who were like, I'm not going to watch a Star Trek show that has a chick captain. That was the thing.
Was it really prevalent? Like, how many Star Trek fans were you friends with that said that?
Oh no, but at that time, being a Star Trek fan wasn't necessarily a thing that you could like. I was a closet. No, I wasn't a closeted Star Trek. I was a flamboyant Star Trek fan. But I would talk to people and I'd be like, "Are you going to watch Voyager?" And they would be like, "No." I'm like, "Why?" And it's like, "Because there's this lady."
Oh, so okay, so this is some firsthand experience.
It is. This is all just anecdotal firsthand experience because there was no social media.
Right.
This was just talking to people. And I was like, well, it's Star Trek. I'm going to watch it. And I had a good time.
Of course. You know, it's a sitcom, Gilligan's Island version of Star Trek, but it's still real. Voyager's still real Star Trek.
That seems very dismissive. Do you believe
it
that?
It does. No, I do believe it. So many episodes, even many that I enjoy. I'm like, this feels like a sitcom, but I'm loving it. And I guess maybe some of the more higher elevated episodes that are like, wow, that episode is really good. Maybe it's more like Homer than Gilligan's Island.
Let's not go Homer. I don't think it's Homer.
Well, because of the Odyssey.
I understand the reference. I didn't think you meant Simpson. But like, it's a good adventure show with a clear goal. Gilligan's Island doesn't have a goal.
Sometimes it does.
We have these, well, you know what? And I don't want to compare it to Gilligan's Island. I want to compare it to Lost in Space.
I haven't seen Lost in Space except for the first episode.
But you know what? I've only seen the first episode myself.
But they kind of, yeah.
I think that Voyager is a better Lost in Space. Because they are literally lost in space.
Of course, it's going to be better.
Is Voyager a ripoff of Lost in Space?
Nah, because Lost in Space is a family, and this is a crew who become a family. But that's every Star Trek, so that doesn't count.
I did used to call Voyager the Gilligan's Island of Star Trek as well.
I do, because they do go through some of the same issues where they're looking for resources, trying to figure out how to live, trying to figure out how to eat, and trying to figure out how to get off get home.
Oh.
Do you want to finish this episode?
I do. You want to go? You're done? You're finished?
No.
So anyway,
I'm not finished. I want to keep going. We can
what?
Did you want to read more chat?
No, we'll get back to it.
Okay.
So this is the explanation. I can't put my family in danger, Jean-Luc.
Yeah, and so Sydney has to be the one to remind him of who he is.
And Picard says, all right, we got to go because Commodore LaForge can't help us, and I agree with his reasons. But he would like to talk to you, Sid. And this is where Sydney throws down the business and says, this is my crew. This is my family. I didn't do anything wrong. We're actually helping. We're trying to figure out what's going on with the conspiracy that's taking over Starfleet. And I'm sorry. Not sorry that I am I'm a pilot. I'm not an engineer.
And of course, Geordi is a pilot and served as such on Enterprise before he became chief engineer. So this This is weird.
It is weird. Well, and yes. But again, we're getting Cole's notes from people who are mild. Well, how much service do you want to give?
But it is a good performance. But how much service do you want to give? What is your meaning
How much
behind that
service do
statement?
you want to give? Like when you and I think about it, I think about the conversation when Captain Jellicoe goes to Geordi and says, "I need a good pilot." And Geordi says, "Well, I'm good and I could do it if you want, but if you want the best pilot on board, go to Riker."
Mhm.
And so even Geordi knows he's a better engineer than a pilot.
Correct.
And it would be I don't know. Would it be I don't think it would be a point of contention.
They're making it one.
Well,
But you did do a good summary of what she said otherwise.
we will get to, more exploration of this
Well, right.
relationship later.
Well, I want to talk about it now. They ruined the main thing that I actually liked about Sydney in the first episode, that she crashed a couple of ships at the academy.
Yeah.
And now apparently that wasn't due to pilot error, but she strategically planned these crashes on purpose to get more time and attention from Geordi.
I think that was a joke.
Oh, was it a joke?
I
don't
think it
even know
was
anymore.
well, it's character nuance, which is very, it's not something I'm used to in watching modern Star Trek. There's no character nuance. But I enjoy the relationship. I enjoy the character of Sydney LaForge. I like her. How do you feel about it?
Well, I did until she said that.
Until she said what?
Until she said she was crashing the ships on purpose to get more of his attention.
I don't think that that's an actual factual. I think that that is
Okay.
just sort of a tongue-in-cheek. Why do you think I crashed all that? I just wanted to hang out with you more. Makes sense. It's kind of cute. It's a joke.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it was a joke.
Maybe
So not well delineated as such.
not every piece of dialogue is a documentary about something that actually factually happened. Some of them are asides, bon mots, if you will.
Okay.
Don't take it so seriously. Sometimes people are just talking and having fun. I think. Could be wrong.
Could be
Everything
right.
can be used against me in a court of law. Anyway, Seven and
She needs
Picard are
to work on her
talking.
comedic delivery.
It doesn't have to be ha ha funny. It can just be conversationally. Oh, I get what you're doing there. But we aren't even at that scene. Oh, right. This is where they decide to steal and this is a great screen grab. You're welcome. But this is where they decide to steal the cloaking device from the Bounty. Oh, I forgot. When the Bounty was, I apologize for the coughing. When the Bounty was in the Fleet Museum, it was revealed that it took a very long time, a long road getting from there to here to sort of resurface the Bounty because the cloaking device had activated. So they were retrieving a cloaked vessel from the bottom of San Francisco Bay. So Jack is informed that.
Wait a minute. The cloaking device activated while it was sitting on the bottom of the ocean?
Yes.
Okay.
Jack even says, "Oh, yeah, the whale thing," which I thought was a very dismissive.
Well, everybody says that. They're making the Star Trek characters talk like Star Trek fans, which is weird.
That is weird. That's an interesting point. I never thought of that, but you're right. If we talk like the fans, then the fans will like us.
Yeah, they had to spend all their money on the heist in the Daystrom Institute, so we don't get to see how Jack and Sydney steal the cloaking device from the bird of prey. There's Stu.
So we're gonna right. So they've decided that they want to go and steal something. These guys are stealing something, and security showed up. We're worried. And there's the Titan in its bay, which Alondra assisted with. Thank you, Alondra. I've lost the plot. Like, this is just people talking. Oh, wait. I forgot. Do I have Shaw? There I do. This entire scene is, so Shaw is a Geordi stan.
Yes, he's a fan.
And so this is the reaction from Seven. And Geordi would love to hang out and talk engineering with Shaw, who is rather inconsequential. Am I roboting?
You're not roboting. Am I roboting?
No, I can only see I'm seeing my bars and they're yelling at me.
Can't tell.
Okay, great. So, yeah, Geordi, Shaw, Geordi.
They do use the 21st century term geek.
Yes, which I was not a big fan of. But they've already lathered so much icing onto this cake that I'm fine.
Yeah, they just keep doing it. So the more they do it, the more you're going to accept it.
Exactly. My logic centers they're just emotionally impacted.
Well, I don't remember which chat it was, but Resolute Germ says it's emotional abuse.
Not abuse, it's manipulation.
Yeah.
And so I didn't didn't I? I liked the manipulation, but I could see it. So that was fun.
Yes.
And we're
cloaking.
And we're cloaking. See? Everything's all wobbly. And it's kind of see-through. So Geordi gets rather upset and says, "Oh my God, you stole the cloaking device off of my bird of prey." And this is where Picard and LaForge look at each other and realize that it is their children who are stealing the cloaking device from a legendary starship that saved Earth. This is the cloaking device, and I do enjoy the installation of the cloaking device. I like it a lot. And yes, I wanted this one because I like the red outline and makes them look cloaked. But Geordi is very upset because he's like, "Do you have any idea? I can't believe that you would manipulate me. I can't believe you would steal from me. You have endangered." Oh!
Well, Geordi is basically the only person who's still worried about Federation law, and that's a good thing.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, Starfleet regulations, Federation law.
I'm surprised anyone still cares. So that was nice to see.
People have to care.
He's the first one
Ever?
yes.
Like in this show.
Trek. Yes.
He's the one who cares about the regulations.
Yes.
So anyway, we're cloaked. And Jean-Luc Picard says, "Well, then maybe you can add all of these crimes onto my tab.
I will. Thank you. We'll get back to you later once the changelings are dealt with.
I get very upset when they write Picard like Kirk. And I think this is a very... It does not work. So anyway, we're installing the cloaking device very unsuccessfully. Well, somewhat unsuccessfully. You know, if you think you're looking at a ring, you're actually seeing a semi-cloaked USS Titan A. And Geordi is going to make it so it's fully cloaked. Hey, there's Alondra.
You're not fully cloaked until you're Geordi cloaked.
Take a look. It's in a cloak. And this is where Geordi says, you know what? And I forgot to mention the interactions between Jack and Sydney. But they're kind of flirting. And Geordi says, stay away from my daughter.
And
which seems to me that Geordi LaForge objects to interracial coupling. I am obviously joking.
Yes, you are obviously joking. Either that or he doesn't like just Jack in general. And because he's a pirate.
I don't want my grandchildren to have Irimotic syndrome. So Worf is hanging out on Daystrom Station. See, it's Daystrom Station. And there are those precious starships you wanted, Jill. They are patrolling. Mm-hmm. And then the Titan shows up. And then it cloaks. Why in the name of any sort of strategy would you cloak after you arrive?
Great point.
Just cloak, go there. They had to do it for the audience, but it didn't make any sense.
Oh, to cheapen how much the shot cost to make. They made it cheaper, and it's and you caught it. Good job.
This is blurry. I'm sorry, but it's still it's Soong. And again, this shot is not blurry. They're going out of cloak, and then they show up. We're gonna beam up Data, and then Riker fights with some people because they get through doors. You know, action scene. It's an action scene, right?
Yes.
And Seven says, Starfleet knows we're here. And Shaw is man-spreading, to be sure. But he's like, okay, well, then we just have to beam our people out and get the fuck. Come on. Let's go. The Titan goes and leaves Daystrom Station with everyone, and everyone being Worf, Raffi, and Soong. Riker was providing covering fire, but he was hit by a stun setting, and so he died. Anyway,
well, no, you're just trying to see if I'm listening.
He didn't die. He didn't die, guys. Don't worry about it. It's cool. So, Raffi and so anyway, they explain everything. They talk about what just happened, I think. I just really wanted to get this shot so I could see Geordi and Worf together. Also, what is the Rorschach test in the middle of this screen grab right now? I think it looks like a person using their hands to make fake binoculars.
Yeah, I could see that.
Great.
It could just could be
What
just
if
a
it's
couple of chairs.
Ferengi ears?
That works too.
Could be Pong.
Okay.
I'm a guy, so everything looks like a penis. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yes? All right.
No.
So this is the place that my heart swelled. Sorry about the penis talk. Here is the place that my heart swelled, is because this is soon a
No,
synthetic.
I honestly, I was just playing along because I liked the moments where we weren't talking about the episode. Go ahead. Please continue.
So soon, the M5 robot from Daystrom. See, and I thought it was Pong as well, Hakeem. Thank you. But never mind. So
Well,
sorry.
I'm so glad you renamed him Soong because they call him Data, but he's not Data. But I guess they're calling Picard Picard, but he's not Picard. So I should be getting used to it by now.
Right. Well, yes. And they do mention several times throughout the episode that it's like, oh, Jean-Luc, he's like you.
Yeah, he's a replicant. So
He's a replicant.
synthetic human.
But this is the Soong synthetic that was beamed from Daystrom Station. And I love Geordi and Data's friendship. And so one of the big problems, and again, my prosthetic opinion, and one of the things that was pointed out to me in terms of Star Trek, was that Picard was Data's best friend.
No. There was that time where, remember that time when Picard thought Data was dead? And 5 minutes later, who are we going to replace him with?
Yeah, who are we going to promote?
He definitely wasn't crying. It was Geordi who was like, "We need to figure out what happened, and we need to do an investigation. And I'm going to expend all my resources trying to figure out what happened." And so, yes,
I am just as concerned about the loss of Commander Data as you are, Geordi. But I need you to be prepared to leave this sector in approximately 13 hours. Yes, sir.
yes.
Sorry, he's
yeah, so
dead. But Captain Picard was the first person to be able to let him go, and Geordi was not. And so this makes me happy, incredibly happy, is when Geordi and Data reunite. Ish. This is why I like this episode, and it's also why I'm angry at it, is because fuck you. You put these two characters in the. This is like seeing Norman Cliff high five.
and
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry for expounding on it for so
well, no,
long.
Data's my favorite character, and Geordi, by consequence, second favorite because of their friendship. And in fact, their interaction is the only part of Code of Honor that I like because Geordi's shaving and Data's there at the barber. But this, I didn't really feel anything.
Well, good, because we're leaving.
Yay!
The Titan is in warp, and with Commander Riker. Oh, I told you guys that Commander Riker got, what's it called? Kidnapped? Stunned? Taken away? He's captured.
He's stunned, and then he gets tortured.
I do want to say, Gundle Whittlebaum, I owe you money. Reading Rainbow got himself old. Looks good, though. Well, black don't crack. And Klingon doesn't age, is the reference on Kronos. It's good to see you, Gundle.
Hello.
Oh, he's a good friend of mine. He bought me my Rocketeer maquette.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's Gundle's fault. Anyway, so Worf says he's going to go and like delete gods to save Will. I will rescue Commander William Riker. And it's like, oh, come on. Captain, sorry.
He's
Anyway,
determined.
He is determined. Well, he's Worf. And then Picard says something like, have you ever thought about dyeing that beard? I will.
Did he really say that? I don't
No!
know. I wasn't
I
paying
am making
attention.
this shit up. I haven't even seen this episode.
And Worf says, I've been dyeing this all along. I'm not, my hair isn't really this white.
Admiral,
Because I'm not
I
really
dye
that
it
old.
white. So then Jack comes in and they have like a family meeting about how maybe all the genetics that have gone into Jack, they're not bad or whatever. Like it's like the family. The episode does have a lot of familial connections.
Yeah, lots of family drama. Mm-hmm.
And I think it supports the drama. I don't think it's soap opera. I think that it actually supports the storytelling, but it does help that there's been a lot of emotional manipulation. So anyway, back where Geordi is, which is next to Data and his daughter. Worf, Beverly, and Picard walk in, and they are surprised. It's like, oh, it looks like Data, but he didn't have to wear makeup. And they're all wondering what's going to happen. Well, it's an amalgamation of Soong, Lal, Lore, B4, Data. We don't know, but he does have the information that we need, which is to find out what was stolen from the Daystrom Institute.
And what's more dangerous than a portal gun weapon?
Oh, this is going to be so stupid. All right. So everyone is looking at him, and they punch buttons, and he opens his eyes. He's awake, everybody. He looks and says, Geordi? Look at the joy in Geordi's eyes. Yes. Yes, sir. Captain? Here is what was stolen. It's Gollum.
Yeah. What is more dangerous than the portal gun weapon? Picard's deceased and mummified corpse.
Now, I have a lot of questions, Jill.
They don't give us any answers. Not in this episode.
No, I know. But like even I don't even care. Here's my question. Like, so Picard died. I'm going to do a little bit of a preamble, and I apologize for boring people. But Picard died. Then he was like sort of transplanted into a synthetic body. Yes?
That is something that happened in season 1.
Yes.
When the robot Cthulhu aliens just gained entry to our universe and can still destroy everybody and all
Dr.
biological
Octopus.
life at any moment.
Yeah, Dr. Octopus. And what, like, so Jean-Luc Picard, the synthetic man, decided to throw away his biological body as if it were unimportant. He didn't have a funeral for his biological self. He didn't pay attention to his own human remains or what would be the last like representation of his human self. He did not do that. What a prick. I think that if I were transferred into a human body or a synthetic body, I would be like, well, we should do something about my old body. I'm not just going to throw it in a bag. But apparently he threw it in a bag.
Yeah,
In a bag.
Section 31 was like, hey, I want that.
Like, he's still alive. Remember earlier in this series when I was saying Wesley should, visit his mom?
Yes. And
Picard
he's as
should
good as dead
know.
to Beverly.
Picard should know where his human body is.
He should. I
Like,
agree.
is there no taxidermy?
That would be weird. Oh, Scogli says I'd display it in my living room.
I was ripping off Scogley's joke, yes. Anyway. Oh, Daystrom Institute. Oh, right. I forgot. Will Riker is getting beaten the fuck up. He's almost murdered. But then the person who's beating him up murders the security officers around them. It's a changeling. Hi. So apparently now, I don't know why, but apparently now, Riker is very upset. This is something that I really, really, really don't like, is that it was very difficult for the Titan to hang out around Daystrom Station, but apparently the Shrike can just come and go as it pleases.
That's because the Federation is run by changelings now.
Then why did we just see a changeling kill 2 Starfleet officers?
Because those are changelings too. And remember, like I said at
You
the beginning of
don't
the
know
episode,
that.
I don't know that, but it probably is true. Because changelings can kill each other now. They don't care about not harming each other.
Yes, because
But you're
they're
right. I
bad.
don't know for sure.
They're bad for the sake. No, how do you show people are bad? They kill their own people. That's the way they do it. Oh, interesting take, Mega Reacts. I just finished episode 6. You should have been listening to us. I am bored. Decent sci-fi, but mediocre track. Well, and Jill, that's something you've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if it were called anything else, we'd be happy.
Mm-hmm. Space pirate vigilantes. That's what I call it.
Yep. So anyway, Riker continually being beaten by this. What even is that? Changeling, I suppose.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
He gets punched in the face and enjoys it. I enjoy the aplomb that Riker is taking his licks. But then we find out. He says, "Do you really think that I'm going to betray 25 years of friendship for you?" And Vadic says, "No, not for me." And we find out that Troy is in the building. And that is the end of the episode.
Yes.
Overall, how do you feel?
Well, for a show that I have renamed Space Pirate Vigilantes, it makes sense that they can make it, a fairly entertaining heist episode. But then again, there's still, little to no science fiction, just references to better and real Star Trek. And even worse, I can actually see why people are falling for it, because this episode is, like I said at the top of the show, Star Trek heroine with the dirty needle. They straight up insert the scene where Riker meets Data on the holodeck for the Pop Goes the Weasel thing during their heist to solve Data's riddle. And the episode forces you to, to see all of this real Star Trek that they're shoving at you in every scene. It's outrageous how many member berries are in this. Also, after the burglary, The Daystrom
Oh, it
Institute.
doesn't qualify. They're not member berries.
There's like hundreds of them in this episode.
But it's not. I don't think it qualifies as the definition of member berries. Member berries are. I don't like calling them member berries. I call them jangly keys. And they are things that you recognize that we are going to wave at you in front of anything that's going on. Like the
Okay, so
tribble.
technicality of the definition.
Well, but I want to be specific in my definition. Like the tribble, that was a member berry.
Yes, it had no meaning to the plot.
But like the character interactions are not member berries. Like seeing the Next Generation crew together again ish so far.
I guess that's subjective. If you actually feel something from it, then it's not a member berry, but I don't, so it is.
Well, what how do you define member berry?
Well, it's just reminding you of better days without actually having any meaning.
Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan is a member berry.
No, the whole entire plot surrounds Khan, so it's not a member berry.
No, by your definition, if it references anything going before, then it's a
but
member berry.
only without meaning. That had meaning.
Star Trek Generations is a member berry. Star Trek First Contact is a member berry. Barclay in Star Trek First Contact is a member berry. Zephram Cochrane in Star Trek First Contact is a member berry.
I could defend all of those things perfectly.
I would love it if you would.
Yeah, I could.
But you don't.
I can.
Please do.
But it's like I said, if there's a meaning for it, then it's not a member berry. It's a sequel.
Well, and that's something that I've been saying about this show from the beginning is that this is like it is a sequel. It's a sequel to Nemesis. I feel like I've overstepped my bounds.
Well, no, that's what I felt about this show too, is that this is trying to be Nemesis again, but trying to do better than Nemesis. But that's all it's ever going to be, is just
Nemesis adjacent.
Yeah, it's just tagging on the movies because and Deep Space Nine and just mixing it together.
I don't. Well, how do you feel about the include? Oh my, Matt G. Thank you, Atuni.
Thank you, Matt G. I would just call it bad nostalgia then.
See, I agree. Like when I'm watching this, I buy Star Trek Voyager. Like this is a show that makes me want to watch the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, you promised me that somewhere in this review we were just going to start watching Voyager, and that never happened.
It didn't. I'm sorry.
I was lied to.
Again. But oh my. I use member janglies and keys synonymously. Well, you'll never open your car again.
Member jinglies. Should I call my keys member jinglies now?
You should, yes. On the advice of a New Zealand captain.
Thank you, Captain Infinity. Well, okay, so I don't know.
So we're gonna watch this again next week because we're 60% through.
Yeah, but after the burglary, the Daystrom Institute has less security instead of more, so that part's done.
Well, and I don't want to do stupid speculation, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, okay.
Why did they steal Picard's body?
Well, Section 31. Well, they also dug up Kirk's body. And
no, I mean the changelings.
Oh, the changelings.
Like, because Vadic stole Picard's body.
Be them? To be Picard? I don't know. They can change into anybody without their physical form. So,
is it the nanoprobes? Is it the Borg nanoprobes?
Oh, you're thinking that this is going to tie in with the Borg somehow because we haven't gotten enough Borg from the other seasons of Picard.
Maybe they want to give the rest of the Great Link Irremotic syndrome so that they'll forget that they made peace with the Federation and the Dominion will rise again.
So
it's so stupid.
That is so stupid. So now changelings can contract Irremotic syndrome. Yeah, that is.
No, but they're going to do it. They're going to use the same biological weaponry that was used against them in the Federation Dominion War. How dare the Federation infect us with a disease? We will now infect our people with a disease so that they don't know, and we will be supreme.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some big grand evil plot that Vadic's going to expound upon while being destroyed in some future episode when she's defeated.
It was so stupid when at the beginning of the episode and Vadic is there and it's like, soon there will be quiet, there will be peace, but first, vengeance! And it's like, what? It was just so mustache twirling villain that I was distracted by the comical nature.
Well, you could tell which parts of the episode were written by Terry and which parts were written by Christopher whatever his name was, Monfet.
Monfet. You were really curious about who wrote the episode when we were watching it.
Yeah, because some of the diction was a bit elevated to be Terry's writing. I could tell the difference in the writing, and it makes sense that Christopher is a comic book writer. But what doesn't make sense is that he was also the writer for season 2, episodes 2 and 3, which were the episodes I hated so much that I stopped watching season 2. So that was weird.
But again, this is part of the argument that I've been having in my own brain and with people on the internet is that, like, just because you show me things that I recognize does not make the writing good. Just because you make me feel a certain way. Like, there's a quality more than listening to a Katy Perry song. I feel like Star Trek Picard Season 3 is a Katy Perry song. I like it, but I don't want to talk about it in public.
Yeah. Yes. I feel that way too.
It's fine. Like, I'll bop to my car in it, but I'm not gonna be like, oh guys, this is the best show ever. Have you seen it? It's called Star Trek Picard. It's like, no.
No, you know what? Somebody came to deliver my pizza and they liked my curb because on my curb I have a Star Trek insignia and my number, my address number. And they asked me if I was watching Picard, and I didn't want to talk about it, so I said no. And they said it was really good. And
you should have told them about this stream. I just really didn't want to engage.
I should have, but I didn't.
You know, that reminds me, everybody, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The Fantasmagorium is happy to put on quality content like this. And please tell your friends. Tell your mom if she's okay with swearing. So, yeah, are we going to watch episode 7 next week?
Yeah, you didn't put a poll, did you?
No,
you didn't. No poll.
Okay. No, I'm incredibly lazy.
Okay, gotcha. Are we going to read the chat?
We should. I just don't know where to start.
I don't know where to start either. So
I have an idea.
Oh, you want some help?
No, I can. I will. Oh, no, I know where to start.
Okay, great. I want a drink. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. I would like to thank Scented Expense.
Don't think that one. That's spam.
I know, but I thought that would be funny if I read the spam.
Okay. Sorry, I ruined your joke.
No, it's fine. You're right. People will get upset. It's from Twitch. It's these Twitch people. By the way, if you're watching on Twitch, thank you so much. I apologize for clogging up your, what do you call it? Subscriptions, I guess. I don't know. I'm like 73 years old. Why not start with an LDG? My bet is now that the Changelings are looking for a new Jem'Hadar comprised of Borg, and they will make Weyoun possibly 5. Actually, I think it would be 8. Weyoun 8 is what they would be on. The new Locutus of Borg. Oh my God, I would love a Vorta Weyounicus. That would be great. Scogli says it's not swill, referring to Chateau Picard. It's just really dry. A connoisseur's wine. I feel like I said that like Worf. Resolute Germ says the reason 8 from the documentary was extremely questionable. I have no faith that Berman would have made that watchable. Are you referring to, and Resolute Germ, are you referring to what you call it? What We Leave Behind? The Deep Space Nine documentary? Because that, I think, well, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to. Oh, there are new comments. And for that, we thank you. Hakeem says, you should have said no tip for you. That is exactly what I said. That is precisely what I said. And it was a good time. What do you guys like? Are you guys, I know that there have been extensions of Paramount Plus for subscribers, for people who are trying to cancel, which I find hilarious. Are you going to be continuing on through to episode 7? I am, because again, I'm not angry. I'm not upset about the show. I am aware that it is just seeing my favorite for, I'm going to be cheesy. I'm going to say seeing my friends back together. It's fun. I like seeing everybody playing. And so I'm going to follow it for the nostalgia. I don't think it's member berries. And if there is a distinction between member berries and nostalgia, please tell me. But yeah, I'm having a good time. So I am, yeah. And I appreciate you so much, Hakeem. If I can watch STD, I can watch this. I never have. And I've watched parts of it. I've watched probably, I don't even know how many episodes of STD there are. But I think I've seen probably 5 episodes total. I have no interest. It's not the show I want. It isn't even in the Star Trek universe as far as the way that those people conduct themselves. It's ridiculous. It's the way I felt. The only reason I was watching Picard season 1 and 2 is because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. Patrick Stewart must need money. This is the first season of Star Trek since 2005 that I've even considered. And I am not decided yet. So Take that. Sorry, I dropped my flashlight. Flashlight? No. Flashlight. Moving on. Resolute Germ says, I'll continue watching. Between this and Bird, you go into such painful detail. There's no point. Well, and if you're not subscribed to Bird of Prey 5 yet, you should. Not just for his Picard reviews, pardon me, but for all of his Star Trek reviews. Bird of Prey 5 is a Star Trek fan through and through. And so Jill is a Star Trek fan through and through. And I like to think of myself as being a Star Trek fan. Fran. I am Fran Drescher of Star Trek. So thank you for listening to my opinions. Appreciate it. But I would rather listen to Jill or Bird of Prey. They're great. Also means that I don't have to talk as much when they're talking. So that's fun. Jill, do you think Bird of Prey 5 is like a dyed-in-the-wool Star Trek fan?
Absolutely. He's a fantastic Star Trek fan, and I enjoy his shows, his bed life, and his reviews of Star Trek. He is the one courageous enough to watch all of the filth.
He is.
Hail
He's
Kuroka.
the only one. He's the only one I think who is qualified. Like, he has full credentials. He's watched like all of Star Trek.
Yeah. If there's anyone else that I want to hear from, it would probably be Clobberin Times.
Yeah,
he hasn't commented on it yet.
Yeah, but those, you know what, the Deep Space Nine reviews can get a little rough.
Well, because they're not afraid to get in deep with it, and I love that. Yeah, even if I love the episode more than they do, I respect their take on it.
But sometimes they talk about a beanbag chair being a little too soft. And I'm like, what? It's a beanbag chair. So
it should have beans in it. Shouldn't be cushiony.
Exactly. And that's what, and I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. They obviously have great insight into Star Trek. I'm just saying that when I go into a Klingon episode and I'm having a conversation about it, or I'm hearing a conversation about it, and then they're like, it's a little too Klingon-y, or it's not Klingon-y enough. I'm like, it's a beanbag chair.
Oh,
but that's because
I love the last Klingon episode that we talked about on that channel, and they didn't so much. But
no, it was a good review. It was a good review.
It was a great review.
Subscribe to Clobberin Times. The Saturday Night Star Trek is amazing, and basically everything that Clobberin Times is. I don't want to be facetious, but I do want to say super faboo.
Well, I got to tell you, just talking about Clobby makes me happy, and that's the happiest I've been this whole review.
Thank you.
So, no, I okay, that comes out a bit wrong because I do enjoy talking about Star Trek with you, but
we are wading through the filth, so I understand where you're coming from.
That is why. If we were talking about Star Trek Voyager, then I would have been extremely happy this whole week.
But the thing is that like halfway, okay, I feel like you felt betrayed by this episode because you were watching it and you liked it, and I was the one poo-pooing upon it.
Well, yeah, that's because it's like you said it exactly right, emotionally manipulative, and there's a certain gullibility that I have that it took advantage of during this episode, and only after I really thought about this episode that I realized how sick it was what they're doing in every single scene, showing all of the past hits, as you say.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally greatest hits for sure. But yeah, sorry, I really have to. You know that last slide that I had, and it was just like a pained um, Marina Sirtis. She's been staring at me for minutes, and it's freaking me out. So I had to figure out how to turn that off.
Marina
Um,
Sirtis? What are you talking about? I missed something.
no, you did totally because I was just narrating what I
I
was
just
doing.
I just
No,
needed some whiskey.
oh really? I'm. Should I grab a beer?
Uh you probably had enough. I don't know.
You think? Well, and Resolute Germ says about Bird of Prey 5, he's a Trek addict, self admitted, as am I. And Scogli, I have watched all of the filth. Well, then you're a better man than I. How is Prodigy? I would love to hear your thoughts on Prodigy.
I think Scogli likes it,
I
but
think
I'm
Bird
not
of Prey
sure.
likes it.
I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, you know what? I got a warm response. I don't want to call it Luke, but a warm response from Bird of Prey 5 on Prodigy. I'd be interested in seeing it. Daniel's Hot Topic says we all innocent. We are all innocent. We are. That is a musical lyric. We are all innocent. I forget what band makes it. And Captain Findy says, I am here. I am not here. Well, then. Great. Mega React says Picard season 3 is a changeling. At first glance, it looks like Star Trek. But as the show goes on, the inconsistencies build up and the mask begins to drop. Now I just see cheap Star Trek imitation. I am reminded of something. At the beginning of the Next Generation, one of the edicts of the Next Generation from Gene Roddenberry was we don't talk about the original series. Just keep going. Like, would I talk about this forever if it was 100 years ago? No.
Exactly. That's a great point. These things should be there should be a sense that we're moving on instead of falling back and getting introspective into itself rather than moving forward and stepping beyond and learning something new. I
While we are boldly going, we should not be looking back.
hmm. And that was actually I don't want to get into Orville tangent, but that's kind of I Orville is leaps and bounds ahead of the film, but the season 3 was not as good as 1 and 2 because it did just exactly that. It looked back on 1 and 2 rather than moving forward up ahead. And I
Right.
know like it kind of deepened some relationships and all this stuff. And yeah, I'll admit to some of that. But it would have been better if they would have just, did some exploration. And so would Star Trek.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate that the filth has decided to throw the Discovery into the 30th century so that those assholes get there first. But I would have loved the Star Trek. Just call it the Star Trek. And then it's in the 32nd century and it's a brand new crew with an optimistic, like, we're not just exploring the galaxy, we're exploring the universe, is what they should do. We're locked into a galaxy still, even in the 30th century future of Discovery. You're not exploring the or the universe now. By the 30th century, we should be exploring farther. So, yeah, it underestimates itself, the filth.
It does. It doesn't want to be Star Trek, and that's where it
Yeah.
loses.
Well, but that was also
And
a big complaint about Voyager, is that when they were in the Delta Quadrant, you can hang out with Vulcans and Romulans and Klingons and Ferengi and whatever, but they figured out a way. But they just
they
didn't.
sure figured out a way to hang out with the Ferengi. That was pretty clever.
Yeah, but that was only like one episode.
Yeah, true. But they had other aliens and
The Kazon, my
oh,
favorite.
no, not the Kazon.
Oh, what were
Yeah.
the surgery aliens?
Starts with an H.
No, the
Erosion.
Hirogen are like the Klingon predator people.
Oh, okay.
The ones with the
Oh,
phage.
the ones who had a disease and they were hunting.
Yeah,
And
they stole Neelix's lungs.
he had to go into he had to have a holographic lung.
Yeah. I don't know how they fixed him. Did they get his lungs back? I'm going to have to watch it.
They can't replicate a lung because it's living tissue.
It's very well, yes. Anyway, I'm good. Do you want to say anything else about the bounty?
Well, I will have to say is all the feelings that you had for all the character interactions. I'm glad that you had them because I didn't so much.
You are high.
Hello.
Hi. So no, you didn't have any of that.
No.
Oh, the Vidians. Thank you. That's not how you spell it, Resolute Germ, but I know what you're meaning.
Thank you.
Vidians.
Thank you, Resolute Germ. Thank you for bringing us back to real Star Trek.
Cheers. Oh my God, I was angry at you a minute ago, but then Resolute Germ made it all better by reminding me that
I'm so
Vidians
happy
exist.
about. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Resolute Germ, for throwing Scotty off.
Yes, Scogli actually knows the spelling, and that's Vidian. You know, team effort, everybody. Good work. Good work. I love your all.
Well,
So
you didn't read the part where Captain Finity says Clobby named me Timus Maximus today.
You can click whatever you want.
And I'm getting business cards printed. That's a pretty good name. That's a pretty good name because Captain Finity is the Pope of time travel. I think Timus Maximus is a better title. And he also says Mega deserves props for actually watching and talking about The Expanse. I need to do that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm looking forward to it, sure. But I'm looking forward to For All Mankind.
Way to go. This is great. Janice Hata. Kirk goes boldly. Picard goes baldly.
True. You know what? I'm kind of frustrated with the fact that like Kirk's remains are in some sort of sarcophagus in a Starfleet laboratory. That bothers me. He was never put to rest.
That's right.
That bothers me.
Well, this whole thing is demented and evil, so it makes sense. Everything's a dystopia. So what's more dystopic than not respecting the dead?
Not much. So yeah, I would give this this episode of Star Trek Picard is better than Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It is the best thing I've ever seen, and I love it to death. In fact, I'm going to make this entire episode my ringtone.
And now you love Terry Metalis?
And I am going to tattoo Metalis Prime on my left buttock.
Mm. Oh my God. I could never make those jokes. It'd be too cringy if I tried to. It comes more naturally coming from you.
You know what? I don't want to talk about tattooing anything on your buttock.
Yeah, me neither.
Great.
Yeah, I don't want to tattoo at all.
I don't have any. Do you have tattoos?
No.
Neither do I.
I'm not against people who
I
do that.
wanted to get
It's
the
their body.
barcode.
They can do it.
I wanted to get the barcode from Alien 3 on the back of my skull. But I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but you have to figure out what it'll say when somebody scans it.
Oh, it'll 99 cents. Or John Hamm.
Oh.
No, I'm not. Don't encourage me to get a barcode on the back of my head.
I'm just having fun with it.
That if you scan it, it says, "This man is John Hamm." And
I already know you don't want. Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to shave my head to get a barcode that says I'm John Hamm. Maybe Fletch.
But then what's going to happen is your hair is going to grow back and nobody's going to know anyway.
Son of a bitch. You know, you're right.
I'm not trying to encourage this.
No, you destroyed my happiness. You killed it. Anyway, Jill, would you like to talk about your channel? Do you have a channel?
I have a channel. Yeah, my channel is Antiderivative where I prefer to not talk about the filth as much as this. I like to talk about other science fiction, like real Star Trek, the original series, where we're going to review the last episode in season 1. So this is going to be so cool because we're going to get to meet Captain Kirk's brother, but unfortunately, he's not going to be around. We don't really get to meet him. He's dead. But it's a great episode. I can't wait to talk about great storytelling. And
okay. You know what's better than one William Shatner?
2 William Shatners, one with a mustache.
Yes.
So, yeah, my channel also, I talk about other sci-fi movies, and sometimes I'll talk about, one time I had a whole episode about the science in Star Trek. And sometimes I'll talk about science news and other things. And I'll have a show tomorrow about UFO. So that'll be fun. Paul Foster is going to get drunk and get kidnapped.
I've been looking forward to this. UFO is a planetary defense against alien invaders.
A very slow invasion, like only 1 or 2 UFOs at one time. But it's a really great show.
I'm enjoying it. Somewhat.
Well,
no, you know what? No, but the thing is that I was going to say, I'm going to have to. And it's like, no, I want to because I enjoy Ed Straker and I enjoy UFO. It's a great show with great music, great set design, and shocking plots.
And beautiful ladies who can do their job.
Yeah, with purple hair, yo.
Mm-hmm. Unless they're on Earth, they take their wig off.
Well, you can leave the wig on.
I need to buy the purple wig first.
But yeah, next week I think we're doing Star Trek 6 and then another UFO. And oh my stars, when are we going to get to Excalibur? I thought
after that.
All right. Well, then there you go.
It was your idea to do UFO regularly every other Friday, and I'm happy about that.
That was really my idea?
Yes, that was your idea.
Huh.
And I enjoed it, so I'm going through with it. So thank you.
Well, anyway, you should sorry about the mutual appreciation squadron that we have going on right now. But yeah, you should subscribe to that there, Jill.
Yeah, but you have a channel too.
You're on it now, yo.
Yeah, we're here. And sometimes we're not even talking about Star Trek. Sometimes you're talking about Batman.
Yes. Next Wednesday? I'm not sure. Next week, we're going to be talking about The Batman, which is the Robert Pattinson, the most recent, the Matt Reeves directed Riddler Batman. And I've never seen it before. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. I find that to be excessive, but I'm going to watch the whole thing. And I am going to tell you all about it next week. It's going to be me, Kat, Ernesto, and anybody else. You can text me.
Or reach him at ScottyR37 on Twitter.
Well, yeah. Am I getting a little too casual?
Well, yeah. Not everybody has your phone number.
What? Don't worry. I'll put it in the public chat.
There you go.
There we are. So that's it. Do we have any more chats? I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Are we good? We can go. What was the sign off catchphrase?
Hailing frequencies closed.
Great.